It's a new year, y'all. And for me, I've never been one to do resolutions. I do solutions. And for the past almost 2 years, I've been drinking AG1 every single day, thanks to my brother, Dr. Andrew Huberman, who turned me on to this incredible product. Every day, every morning, no exceptions, just 1 scoop and a glass of water. They also make packs that you can travel with. That's been very, very helpful for me as a active touring person. Having these packets with me all around the world has been really, really helpful. So if you're a musician or somebody that is always on the go, the travel packs are incredible. AG1 delivers my daily dose of vitamins, minerals, and pre and probiotics. It's very powerful, it's very healthy, and it's really simple, man. Healthy aging shouldn't feel complicated. The thought of taking multiple supplements and all these types of vitamins and stuff and powders, it's truly exhausting for me. I've never been one to take a lot of multivitamins anyway throughout my whole life. I always prided myself in just eating vegetables and eating all the stuff I need naturally, not in a pill form. So this is incredible. It covers my nutrient gaps. It supports my mental and physical health. AG1 is hassle-free, 60 seconds every morning. It's the high-quality ingredients of pre and probiotics, adaptogens and antioxidants, and whole food sourced nutrients. I drink it every single day. Every batch of AG1s goes through rigorous testing processes, and their ingredients are sourced for absorption, potency, and nutrient density. If there's one product I can suggest you guys, is the AG1s, man. This has been a life changer for me. So go to ag1.com/OLLC and you can get a free 1-year supply of vitamin D3 and K2 and 5 free AG1 travel packs with your first purchase. With AG1, I know I'm getting essential brain, gut, and immune health support, vitamins, probiotics, and nutrients for the day, and it's helped my mental and physical. So if there's one thing I can recommend to you guys, it's AG1's. It's my nutritional insurance. I pride myself as almost being 54 years old, not going to the doctor all the time, knock on wood. I've been healthy my whole life and try to strive to be a healthy person, stay young, stay full of energy, and still do the things I love that I did as a kid. That's why I still skateboard, play music, exercise. So start the year off right. AG1, ag1.com/OLLC. Yo, Liquid Death, thank you so much for hydrating all my guests, taking care of me and my family and my friends. Love your water, love your brand, love what you stand for, love what you give back to the community. If you want to learn more about Liquid Death and how it started, listen to episode 115 with the co-founder, owner, and creator of Liquid Death, Mike Cesario. Just a punk rock skateboarding kid from Delaware with a dream. It's an incredible story, incredible journey. So if you go liquiddeath.com/Toby, you get free shipping on any items you order from liquiddeath.com. If you want to just get Liquid Death water, go to amazon.com. But for the merchandise and other cool items, exclusive items, go to liquiddeath.com/Toby and get free shipping. Thank you so much, Liquid Death. Death to plastic, murder your thirst, stay hydrated. You know H2O saves lives.
It's a headphone to kind of...
Oh, you're recording now, so you better hold your tongue, man.
Microphones are especially good.
These microphones are incredible.
I do.
The headphones are cool,
using?
but
the
microphones are even better.
I do want to give a shout out to Adam Blake's wonderful wife, Juliet Kim Blake, who came up with her own drink, Jinsa. I'm giving him a shout out, bro. This shit's banging.
Ginseng.
And this is Korean pear and ginseng. It's her own. She started her own company, bro. So
this is my first time trying it. So
to Juliet Blake, I'm so proud of you.
Nice.
It's delicious.
I haven't tried it yet. I'm having a Liquid Death.
You're welcome to have a sip of that. It's really good. Jinsa.
It's
pretty fucking...
Okay,
what
let's
do you think?
go.
You like it?
I think it's nice. I
Okay.
like it.
You better say that on my podcast.
Yeah,
okay.
It's like a party going on.
Okay, welcome to the One Life, One Chance podcast. I'm your host, Toby Morse, with my brother from another mother, Mr. Derek Green, in the house.
What's up?
Thank you for being here, Derek.
How you feeling?
Good. I'm happy to get to meet my guest in real life. You guys probably met throughout a couple years where they're playing music, whatever.
And I've heard so much about him.
Of course,
you.
man. He's
and
Max.
Max.
Man. Yes.
Yes.
He's my brother, the man, the myth, the legend. For a part 2, Mr. Matt Skiba, thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me back.
You were on episode 49.
Really?
And now we're on
49, dude.
40. And now we're like 249 or 250 or something.
Really? You've done that many?
It's crazy. Yeah, man.
Damn, son.
It's been a journey. It's been really wonderful.
It has. Wow.
Thank you for being here, Matt.
Thants for having me.
A lot's happened since I had you on originally.
Yeah,
and,
you have a Shure sponsorship. You have drinking. You have a little fridge with drinks in it.
You
have Derek here, handsome co-host.
Got some Liquid Death. Got some Athletic Greens.
Word.
What else we got? Tattoo removal by Removery.
Mm-hmm.
What else we got?
Keep going.
What's tattoo removery?
Yeah, they do lasering.
Really?
If you want some lasering, I got you.
No,
anytime.
I'm good.
Okay. I started doing it. It hurts.
We could talk about other procedures that we were just talking about. We can get there. It's up to you.
We can go in depth with that.
I think it's a thing to talk
fascinating.
about.
Okay.
I mean, it's in
I've been
your life,
talking about-
but it's up to you. I mean, this is forever. The internet's forever, Toby.
Well, I've already talked about it on here. I'm just going to say it out loud. I've been going back and forth for many, many years about my hairline. And then some people post pictures of me recently where I would see I have the same kind of widow's peak my whole life.
Okay.
I'm not completely bald on the top. I'm hanging
True.
in there. I'm about to be 54.
Facts.
But there's this procedure now where you can go to different countries, even in
Yep.
America. They take the hair from the back of your head. There's no scarring. And they replant it in the front of your head wherever you need it.
Minimal
Where the
scarring.
minimal scar. Yeah, it looks
yeah.
like your
It's
head
under
brain
your hair.
surgery.
Yeah. And if I can stand a tattoo on my head, I can stand
It
probably...
just looks like you had hair surgery at some point in your life.
Or like brain surgery. I thought that's what was happening in
They
Turkey.
just missed.
And so the question is, would you do that? Either of you guys would just fuck it, shave your head, or tattoo your head? Or just who cares? Or just wear a hat?
I've thought about it.
Okay.
Okay.
And
Respect.
I mean, I've considered it, not so much as to like go get an appointment or to look into getting it done, but that is an option. And I am balding, but I'm not sensitive about it. It's too, like I was just telling you, buddy, you're 54. I'm pushing 47. I don't think it really matters. I mean,
Yeah.
what matters is how you feel.
Exactly.
Sure,
My
sure.
wife
And
still loves me.
if you're sensitive about it, or people are sensitive about it, I don't think there's anything wrong. You're not hurting anybody.
I think it's cool you have a wife, so.
Yeah, I was just saying that was my point too. It's like you're not on the market, and shit's only gonna get weirder. So just
Right.
chill.
Imagine me on the market at 54 on one of these fucking apps, bro. I lose my mind.
Oh my God, that's
Yo.
a TV series I would love to.
That's a great point, Skeeps. It's
I
like
mean-
if it's about me feeling comfortable with my own hairline
Yeah.
and my own head.
If
Because
you, it's
my
that's-
son and my wife don't give a crap about it. I'm the one
So
obsessed.
you know what? You know who
my
else
son's
doesn't give
busting.
crap about it? Everyone else. Nobody gives a crap
That's
about
true.
it. Only you do.
Yeah.
In reality,
That's
Yeah.
facts.
And it works.
Yeah.
It's just how I've
it's
always
how
been.
you feel. So I wouldn't say do it or not do it. I mean, I think for me, it's a waste of time.
I'm saying do it just out of pure curiosity. I just want to see.
You know what? You should
I
do
want
it.
to document it.
You should totally do it. It's a good point.
What, just to document it? Will you come document
Yes.
it? If
I
go
want to
to
see what
Turkey-
happens.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah, do it.
Yeah.
If I go to Turkey and Sweden,
Yeah, I would definitely go with you and document.
I'd only
the
document it
entire
if the company did
procedure.
maybe took care of me. Like hey, I'll fly or
Yo,
whatever.
maybe you could get like a thing like
If I'm
where
paying
they'll do
like
it for
20
free.
Gs?
Let's say they do it for free. If you can
I thought
just
it was
document
7.
it.
It's 7
7.
overseas and 20 G's right down the street, man, in Beverly Hills.
I think it's worth to go to Turkey.
It's Sweden too, though, because I got friends I can hang out. Sweden's nice, man.
Sweden is nice.
Turkey's like a mission. That's like a longer mission.
It is a longer mission, but
You guys been to Turkey?
yeah.
I have not been to Turkey.
The bands play out there?
Yeah, absolutely. We played there many times.
Yep.
Sepultura played there?
Yeah, man.
Sick show.
6 shows.
Next time, book a show out there and get your hair did. And then let me know.
When I was, I don't. That's the thing. I don't know. if the
Istanbul. You
procedure-
guys have never played in Istanbul?
No.
never played. See, I don't know about the
don't-
procedure with black folks because
Okay.
I haven't seen any brothers out there getting.
Yeah,
that.
the
haven't
east.
looked
The
in?
east is like Russia was. We played a show with. Yeah, we don't even go there. Definitely keep your head up out there, buddy. I won't even tell the story.
Yo,
It
Derek,
sucks.
that's a great question. Do black people? Yeah, people. Yes. Yes, Tory Lanez, one of the first rappers to get a hairline, got the hairline.
But you can't
He's down
suggest Turkey as a place to travel
one.
because
No,
of that.
Okay.
You didn't go with anyone of color to Turkey. Let's chill. That's a good point. What made you think of that?
So go to Sweden then.
Yeah.
But
Sweden.
somebody to pay for it. But cool, you sponsor my hairline.
I think
Do
if
you know
they
what I mean?
sponsored it, and they're like,
Sponsor
"Can you
your
document
hairline."
it?" And they're like, "Yo, they're making a whole documentary. It's going to be good for promo for
Yeah.
them."
I know some.
Yeah.
I know. I've seen some people that have done that. Yeah, they documented the whole thing.
Yeah.
If I'm gonna do, it, I'm not gonna hide it. I did this. You know what I mean? I'm not
yeah,
gonna- all of a
right.
sudden, I have a hairline.
Yeah.
Some people have it. It just pops up.
Just eating healthy. Let's just say that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think being the way you're a healthy young 54. Did you say 54?
Yeah,
Yeah,
about to
you're a
be
young
54, yeah.
54. That's everything.
great.
Yeah. How old are you?
I'm 50. I'll be 53.
In 2
You guys
days.
both
Yeah.
look like young, handsome men. It's
Thank
all
you,
about how
man.
you take. But I mean, the hair thing. I don't know.
Yeah, you're right.
It really depends on. You're the only person that's gonna notice it, really.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, well, here we are, Matt Skiba.
Okay.
Thank you for being here, Matt. Let's
Yeah, that's
let's
what
get
I
back to
think
the
anyway.
guest.
I mean, it's,
So, yeah.
What's going on?
Well, the last time he was here, he was in Blink. Now he's not in Blink. He's always been in Trio the whole time. Trio has a new record coming out. It'll be
Okay.
out this week.
All right.
26th,
Max's birthday.
On Max's birthday. It's Friday the 26th. And it's Blood, Hair, and Eyeballs. That's the name of the record.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And this is, when's the last time your last record came out? How long has it been since the last?
It's been over 5 years since our last record.
That's a long
Quite
time.
yeah.
So
Especially-
we recorded and released a record while I was in Blink, but we didn't tour like we usually do. We haven't released anything like we have, and we have a new drummer.
Yeah,
Adam
okay.
Willard is playing drums in our band now.
Dope-ass drummer, yes.
Was he in another band before that?
Oh,
He
man.
was, yeah, bunches.
Rocket from the Crypt.
Oh, nice.
So
Okay.
many bands.
So many bands, but Rocket was like how I fell in love with Adam.
Great band.
And he actually played with us for like a 2-week tour 20 years ago. He filled in for like 2 weeks of a run right when Derek joined the band. Different Derek.
Okay.
Derek Grant to join the band, but Adam filled in because the changeover hadn't happened. So we've been friends for a long time, and it definitely feels like he's been there the whole time in a lot of ways. So we're psyched. He didn't play on the new record, but he's playing the new songs. We're playing Kimmel in a couple days.
Oh, nice.
Nice.
That's awesome. Let's pull up for
cool.
that.
The
That's cool.
23rd. Yeah, come through.
That's cool. So your life, you always were in Trio the whole time you in Blink, so that's nothing changed. The only thing's different is you're not playing in two bands.
Yeah, the focus now is solely on Trio. It's like with Blink, it depended on what I was doing. If we were touring with Trio, that's what I was concentrating on, and that's what I was. You can only do one thing at once. But now the all the attention is on Trio, which is good. It's like I feel like people are excited to have Tom back in the band. It's the way I think it should be, and I'm grateful for my time with those guys. I had an incredible time. Thank you. I had a blast. I love those dudes, and I'm glad that they're back to the way it should be. I'm glad that I'm back to where I feel like I should be. It feels like all is right in those those worlds.
You feel less stressed?
No, you're not in the world, but in those worlds.
Do you feel less stress in your life? Is everything just having one thing to focus on and not juggling things? Or?
Not really. I mean, I never really got too stressed about it. I mean, playing music, it's like we don't work music, we play it. It may travel may feel like work here and there, like if you don't feel well or something like that. But generally, I think I'll try and speak for all of us in saying that we have a really pretty easy job.
Yeah.
The only real stress with Blink was learning all of their songs.
You have a lot to learn too.
A lot to learn, and I was always learning. But I didn't. I had a great time. Yeah, it definitely. It feels more natural to be in just one band at one.
Yeah, two things. Yeah, two things you said right there that I talk about sometimes is like playing music is amazing. Being on stage is amazing. It's not work, but the travel that's what feels like work sometimes. Absolutely. Like the hustle and bustle and like the no sleep and trying to eat and just everything surrounding that chill. Those 23 hours that feels like work sometimes.
Yeah, that sucks.
I hate the traveling, man.
I love the traveling.
You do?
I love it all.
Wow.
Yeah. I like flying.
Wow. Okay.
Wow. Okay.
I like
airports.
I love airplanes.
Security.
I love airports.
Wow.
Friends with the security. Yeah. I mean, I just try and make the most of it.
You got the global entry and all that stuff and
they make it pretty easy, I think. I mean, it does get exhausting, of course. Like I'm saying that now, and I haven't been on tour in a few months. So talk to me in like a month and a half. I might have a different opinion. But for the most part, I do still enjoy traveling. I'd always much rather be doing whatever I'm doing with music than any other job I've ever done, or.
It is true.
Yeah,
we're very lucky to do that, and people.
It feels like a choice to me always. I never really feel like I have to do it because we don't.
Yeah. Two things I remember about Blink is that one, remember you texted me the day you met with them at Crossroads, and I was like, holy shit, like when they asked you to join. Yeah. And then second, seeing your first time playing with them, I think it was Muse Inc. I'm not sure the first show was.
The very first show was at the Roxy.
Yes.
Did you come to that?
Yes, I did, yeah.
Yeah, that was weird. I mean, it was great. I don't think I played a right note the whole show. I felt like I was on a different planet.
Were you totally nervous?
Man.
Yes.
Yeah.
How many rehearsals did you have before
we had a bunch, but it's such a weird thing to prepare for. And I mean weird in not weird in a bad way, just in an unfamiliar way. Something that was a little foreign to me. But I was happy to be there. I wouldn't have traded anything, but I hadn't been that nervous for like a show ever. Wow. It was just a lot, I felt like I had a big responsibility. I didn't want to let the band down. I didn't want to let the fans down. And hopefully I didn't, but it was mildly terrifying. But but again, it wasn't we have friends and family that have been in actually terrifying situations, so that was really nothing. Yeah. I've always kind of had that perspective, thankfully.
Because you've been writing all your songs your whole life, and you've learned songs you didn't even write. That's like a totally different thing. And then sing those with the same kind of commitment and passion of those songs. You know what I'm saying? How they've been written, or people hear them or expect to hear them. But it's different because it's him. So it's
I just had never it's the same for anybody. I never really thought of it that way. That's a good point, Toby. Is play you are learning somebody else's things, but I'd never done that before. Ever.
Right.
I'd never joined anyone else's band.
Right. Right.
So it was definitely a little tricky, but it felt possible. The fact that
but you knew the songs, not all the songs. But
I didn't know any of the songs, not one.
Okay.
That's very nice of you,
tricky.
but no, I didn't know. I didn't know a single.
Even trickier.
Yeah.
Maybe you thought you knew some because you heard him so much. I don't know. Maybe not.
No.
Yeah.
You're like,
I'm like, come on, this
No, I mean, I didn't know. It was like, there's they have songs like All the Small Things that,
Right.
anyone could pick up a guitar and figure it out pretty quickly if you've ever played a guitar before. But a lot of the other stuff, Tom's a really good guitar player and our styles are very different. So it was learning something almost a new language.
Yeah, the one thing that happened with Skiba that didn't happen to you is that you joined a band to sing for Sepultura after they've been together 20 years,
and
right?
I didn't have to play guitar and sing, thank God.
But you didn't write any songs really with them, like full songs. He wrote songs on records that charted on Billboard.
Not at first, though.
Not at first, but still you have songs that are on 9 in California, both those albums. Which
after
really
after writing with them,
no disrespect.
No, I had to write.
You wrote records in your career with Sepultura, I'm sure.
Yeah,
but not songs.
Like I had to write all the lyrics.
Yeah.
My bad.
You know the songs that the band plays.
Okay, my bad. I'm thinking about riffs. My bad. There's a conversation yesterday.
I was like, who wrote them?
My bad. I'm sorry, Derek. I'm sorry. And you were equal member too.
I've known this guy for so long that I didn't even.
I forgot about it.
I knew what you were getting at.
But when you joined, you became equal member right from the jump, which doesn't really happen with a lot of bands.
Yeah, we talked about that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. Okay, so you wrote lyrics, you wrote the songs. Because I'm thinking about old Sepultura versus the new Sepultura. Right. Different. But he wrote 2 amazing records, part of those records.
But it happened in the same way that I'm guessing would have happened with you, where you join the band, you play shows first, and then you get in the creative process. Probably like how different when you joined Sepultura. How soon was it that you started writing with the band?
Well, at the very beginning, they had a bunch of songs they had already written.
Just musically?
Yeah, musically. And then it was like, okay, let's see if this guy's got any ideas, which was foreign to me. Like, you got any ideas to throw in the pot? Like, they were asking.
Oh, that's cool.
Which is a rarity.
That's
I
cool.
found out later on. And then I was like, yeah, I got a couple. I didn't really play guitar. I wasn't player. I could pick it up and be like, show me, what do I need to play? And so it was a different experience. Like once they started to realize that after when they're doing the second album was like from the very beginning, everybody together sitting in a room. Like, who's got some ideas? Let's throw them out there. And I was like, oh, I got some riffs. And there was like, okay, let's focus on those vocals. And
coming too soon with the riffs.
Yeah. But yeah, it was, it took some time touring, getting to know each other until we were fully the second album.
Together,
like, let's write an album together. Everyone sitting in a room, everyone being apart.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
but
good.
that takes time to get that connection with people you've never played with.
Sure.
Never played those songs before. I can feel
and then also him coming and writing songs. What songs he sings about and writes about in Alkaline Trio is completely different than Blink-182 lyrics.
Right.
And he's writing those with a group of friends he's been with for a long time. Yeah. And then going in with guys who've been together for a long time.
Right.
And the subjects they're used to talking about, it's his subject.
But it's the same thing as like with you joining anyone performing with when you started doing Hazen Street or like anything you've done outside of H2O is like you kind of have to change channels a little bit.
Yeah.
And for me, it wasn't really a decision. It just kind of came with the territory. Like these are different people. It's a different story. It has a different, similar but different vibe.
Yeah.
Because you're probably being asked to do what you're good at, what other people think you're good at.
Yeah.
But kind of like hopefully it naturally tailoring it to whatever that audience is, or it was a pretty natural thing playing with those guys. I mean, I was familiar with their music. Don't get me wrong. I was a fan of Blink. I just didn't know how to play any of the songs when I joined.
Yeah.
So I didn't want to give that impression that I wasn't familiar at all with it. I was. Just I'd never thought to learn one of their songs or play it. Like, I don't know how to play most songs. You know, like I hear a song I love and occasionally I'll sit and try and figure something out, but generally I just enjoy it and let it live on its own.
Did it have a major change in your life being in that band for those years?
It definitely changed. I learned a lot about we playing with a different band. It's like I said, kind of like learning a new language. So I learned a lot about communicating in the studio. I learned a lot about my abilities, and I mean there were things that are on Blink records that I thought I'd never be able to play. Like I told those guys when they asked me to join the band, I was like, I don't know that I can play all this stuff. And they're like, you can. It's harder than it sounds. I mean, it's easier than it sounds. And some of it was, some of it wasn't, but it just but it did, like there was a period where we were just we played the initial shows. The main one was Travis's Muse Inc. gig that they didn't want to cancel. And then after that, we pretty quickly started writing together. But it's something that Mark and I said pretty regularly in interviews, that there was definitely a time where you're figuring out how to be a band together. You're not just if it happened just suddenly, and I'm sure it's happened in musical history, but generally I think there has to be a certain amount of like growing and acclimating that has to happen before you lock in and become a band, for sure, in the truest sense. So, and it took some time, but it was so fun. It was always fun. It was never like, it was mildly terrifying at times, but in a good way. Mm-hmm. Inspiring ways, kind of, not ways that made me want to stop doing it.
Stepping outside
and
the box.
I also shout out to the trio guys too for like just hanging while Skiba has this thing, this moment and this time singing another band. They were like just lay back in the cut until he's ready. But they also went back and forth and made music with them too. And also I feel like him being in Blink and now him being in Trio, so many people that found out about him through Blink now are Trio fans. I'm sure that's kind of like, right? It's moving into that world kind of.
Yeah. I mean, it's, we definitely got a lot of new listeners because of the Blink thing, for sure. Cool. And I'm grateful for that. Sorry, I'm not talking to the microphone.
No. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, it was it's like a 10-year journey almost with that, I think, right?
It was 7 years,
7 years, wow.
Went by fast though. I mean, we did 2 records, did a bunch of touring, and it went by quick.
Okay.
And you're 20 years in Sepultura?
Yeah.
Wow. And there was 20.
A little bit more. Yeah.
And there was 20 years before you.
Wow.
Yeah. Was it 40 years?
Yeah.
And now it's their 40th anniversary, and they're breaking up. Sepultura. They announced it. They announced it. Yeah.
How do you feel about that?
Good.
We never talked about the pod yet. Yeah.
I feel good about it. You know, I think everybody is pretty positive in the band. You know, we had thought about it, and it's nice to stop when you're feeling good. You know, everyone's on top.
You don't want to wait. Like, you don't want to wait for tragedy to strike or something, or illness, or both.
That would suck.
Damn. Well, that's good. If it's something you guys are choosing to do and it's positive, then
absolutely,
congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
But now you can do a world tour.
Yeah, now we got at least 2 years of touring ahead of us.
But it's not like an uncomfortable thing. Like it's a celebration of your.
I think
careers,
it would be
probably.
very emotional once we start playing the shows. I'm like, oh man, this is the last time here.
I'm sure.
In the city.
Yeah.
Especially if you guys are all, friends, family, and beyond. Like, totally. Bands, I mean, it's like a marriage, right? Like, even more so.
It is.
For sure.
Or not even more so. Just, it's beyond, it's different. It's different.
It's very different, but it's, you're traveling with those people all the time.
You know pretty much everything about each other.
You see them all naked, took showers together somewhere. It's some weird ass
how
backstage.
Everyone's, Oh yeah, you see some bizarre
prison
things.
showers in Germany backstage, Warped Tour shit, just all that stuff. How many years has Trio been together for?
Showers.
How many years has Trio been around for?
96, since 96, whatever that is.
I thought the band was European for some reason.
Really?
Yeah, for many years I was like, oh yeah, they're from like Holland or the Netherlands
I
or
like that.
somewhere, you know, in Europe, like
Really?
an obscure European country.
Why? Why do you
know?
think that?
I don't know. I just because I saw
I've
you
thought
guys are
that
playing
about
a
bands,
lot,
too.
a lot in Europe, like a lot of
Yeah.
festivals and.
Yeah, the UK and Europe definitely
Is that
embraced
your
us.
largest market?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, Chicago, like the States, we
From
do.
Chicago.
Okay.
I'm from Chicago originally.
Oh,
So yeah,
Chi-Town.
Chicago has
Nice.
always been our stronghold.
Great. That's awesome. I never knew that.
Yeah.
No,
Chicago.
they're from Germany, bro.
Yeah.
Chicago, Germany.
Deutschland.
Ukrainian Village. That's about as fancy as it
Right,
gets.
right.
But Chicago, proudly. But yeah, like the band definitely got bigger, faster in the UK first, and then
Right.
and
UK
Europe.
is where I saw it a lot. You know, like really blowing up.
Yeah, it's like on. Yeah, we're just. I think per capita, just like a bigger band there or something.
Do you enjoy playing more in Europe or in the US? Do you have a preference? Or?
I don't. Like I said, I still love to travel, so I
Okay.
love going to Europe.
Yeah, yeah.
Just because it's newer, you know. I mean, it's much older, but newer for us. It's like the luster of Europe is still not. I mean, it only gets stronger. The more I go there, the more I learn about it. The more things. I'm a history freak.
He's a history
so
guy. So
Yeah.
you're like going to like the churches. You're walking all through the
all
towns.
of
I
it, yeah.
love that.
Every time.
Battlefields.
Yeah.
I mean, there's not you. The more that you read and learn, the more there is to see.
Absolutely.
He's a history buff too.
Oh
like
yeah.
that.
So you know everything
Right.
that's standing in Europe
Yeah.
has survived. I mean, the older it is, the more wars it's withstood.
I have an interesting question for you.
Sure.
I mean, growing up in the U.S. and going to a school system in the U.S. and you traveling to Europe, have you noticed that something is off in our history books or the way that we're seeing things?
Oh yeah, big
Great
time.
question.
Yeah, everything. I mean, I
Right?
don't need to tell you,
Yeah.
like American history has been so whitewashed. What we're taught in school is so far from the truth. We were never taught about the history of slavery, what actually happened, the crimes against humanity, that this country, as much of a patriot as I am, was founded on blood and savage acts of not even war, just war crimes.
Yeah,
Right,
raping
right.
and pillaging. Just everything.
I mean,
Yeah.
just genocide
Yeah.
of like however many races of people that have like been brought here for quote unquote commerce, whether it be slavery or people annihilated from the regions,
Or servitude,
whether they be
you know, like
natives.
people who were brought in who were coming from Europe that were, you know, servitude where they had to serve for a certain person for a certain amount of years at the very beginning of this country.
Yeah.
You know, and they were kind of tied in with slavery, like living in the same places,
That's
you know,
crazy,
kind
yeah.
of together and united. But then there was a split, it seemed, from them, you know, because it became dangerous, because there was a lot of revolutions and people stepping
Rising
up.
up about-
The
yeah.
idea, they're like, look, we're in the same boat. You know, I mean, I noticed that there was a radical difference, and it was embarrassing.
It's embarrassing. It really is. And yeah, what we're told is about even it wasn't that like segregation was not that long ago,
No.
and it's treated like something that never happened, which is it's criminal.
Right.
And I think that like teaching the myth of Thanksgiving is. It's still like, I mean, I get it. It means family and whatever,
Right.
but like, I'm not posting pictures of turkeys on Thanksgiving.
No.
I'm not with any of that.
No,
And I'm
no,
nothing
not at
against
all.
anyone that does, but I can't ignore the
Yeah.
reality of the injustice that people like how. I mean, people throughout every civilization, throughout every country, are guilty of very similar things. But this so loudly and brazenly being lied about just for so long is like. It really does a disservice, and kids that are smart are going to see past it. Hopefully, at some point, you shouldn't. But we shouldn't leave it to that chance. It's like
Right,
you should
right.
be telling kids the truth.
Yeah, the Christopher
and
Columbus
so-
holidays, no more.
Christopher Columbus.
No more
I mean,
holiday,
even
yeah.
we can
world.
go in depth with that.
Yeah. Plymouth Rock my ass. Didn't happen.
And what were you gonna say about?
I mean, it's just, but especially like in Europe, it's like reading just world history. It only speaks to like more recent history. I mean, depending, my parents both fought in Vietnam. So I have a lot of military in my family. So I've never served, but I have a pretty heavy interest in like war history. I think it's fascinating. I don't, so like World War II and World War I, more recent, like the past 10 years, I've gotten learning more about World War I. Always, we're still learning things about World War II, but you know, in learning about those things, you start learning about more recent and like more American history, specifically like the North America we were raised in and how different it's been even 20 years ago or whatever.
Right.
How different. I mean, I remember, dude, like, and I'm sure you guys do too. Where did you grow up?
I grew up in Cleveland, Ohio.
Oh,
yeah,
Midwest.
Yeah, Midwest.
Ohio.
So like, yeah, in the Midwest, I remember like it was when 96, I said, was when the band started.
Yeah.
So it would have to been 98, 99, where there was like, when you drive into Missouri from Illinois,
Right.
Ku Klux Klan Ku Klux Klan owns this next adopt a highway stretch of road. Was the first stretch of road you got to going into Missouri, or like driving into Louisiana. You're in Duke country now.
Yeah.
When David Duke was a
Duke.
fucking senator, governor, or whatever the fuck he was, like a grand wizard. It's like, and that was I remember that in my adult life.
Oh yeah.
That's fucking scary.
And it hasn't gone anywhere, clearly.
I know.
I mean, that's a whole other thing. But even then, it's like people are. I think it's important that, you know, people learn the actual history, and they're certainly not being taught in schools. At least not when I was there.
Yeah. Definitely not when I was there. I mean, it was. I don't know who was. I mean, it was the winners are writing the history. You know, at least in America.
Very well. Very well put.
But it's sad because there's a lot of people that don't want to change any of these things. These things, it's just wrong. Like it's just not factually correct.
No.
Many things, especially like Columbus. You know, people are getting up in arms. I remember where I grew up, in like a little Italy. They're like, why would you want to, you know, desecrate Christopher Columbus? He was incredible Italian. You know. I was just like, first of all, I mean, everything is wrong about everything you just said.
Yeah, wasn't he
sentence.
Spanish anyway?
He's actually like Portuguese.
Oh wow.
You know, like, and I mean, everything, and he didn't even go to America.
No, well, he did. Yeah,
he didn't go to North America. He went to the islands, the Caribbean.
Yeah,
you know, he didn't set foot. And
supposedly the first city in the States is St. Augustine, Florida, is where they actually sent like satellite boats up to. Before, I mean, maybe there was a settlement. I'm sure it had to have been made at some point. Settlement is a polite word, too, for a lot of other horrible things. Shit. Yeah, we just settled there.
Right.
Okay. Yeah, we learned all about the settlers. Like, wow. That's a cute word. But yeah, I think, like, to answer your question, it's total dog shit.
Yeah.
It's so far, like you said, it's so far from the truth. It's not even the same countries or time frames or whatever. We're just making things up.
Yeah.
But
absolutely making things up.
Just making it up to fit what the easiest way to tell that story, and people love to believe it.
But that's something that I really enjoy, and I'm sure you're enjoying traveling, is getting to know people and getting to talk to them,
different
and
cultures,
actually, you know, face to face. Having that experience changes everything.
Yeah. You realize like how different people are, but also how similar everyone is too.
Exactly.
Just climates are different, but we're all like wired the same way. We all hopefully want, you know, to live in peace and have our families be safe and our loved ones be safe. And like everybody hopefully wants the same things. People have an interesting way of communicating that, I think. But I'm glad to be sitting here at the table with two like-minded gentlemen. That's for damn
sure.
I think it should be like mandatory in schools that you do a foreign exchange program.
Yeah.
I think those are so
it's a good way to really learn something.
Living with the family and oh my God, another place.
Books can't teach you any of that. They can't tell you how things smell or what people are really like or any of it.
It's crazy. Rusty lives in South Carolina. He said that less than 20 miles from his house, there's still Klan meetings. Yeah, who knows how close? Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah. That's why it's like...
No, that's what I was going to say. I was gonna say Orange County,
Yeah.
but
Fuck you said, who cares?
it is. I know.
I'll keep it 100. My son's seen so many suspect dudes in the water.
Oh
in
yeah,
Orange
he
County.
talks about it. I was
Suspect tattoos, bro.
I never knew this growing up in the Midwest or even coming from
What,
New
surf
York.
Nazis?
Yeah, we were talked about this before, and
Yeah.
I always thought Orange
like-
County was like a rebellious place, loving
There's
all the hardcore and punk
bands.
music. I was like, all these cool
Yes.
bands are coming from the OC. It must be an incredible place.
And there are some great bands that come from
And
the
we got
OC.
great friends
in
There's
Orange
also
County,
some
can't forget
real dodgy ones. I mean, there's a lot of prisons out that way.
Well, yeah, now
That's-
I know that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember going to see Manicus
I mean,
Panic
there's
with my wife, and
hate
it was
everywhere.
there's
but-
people sick howling in the pit.
What?
And it's all Mexican punk rock band. I was like, what is
Yeah.
going on when I first moved? This is crazy.
That's kinda
Why isn't anybody
crazy.
stopping them? It's so different than the East Coast where they beat the
Yeah.
shit out of Nazis at shows. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
it's-
No, I know,
Midwest,
I know.
Midwest too.
Same,
Yeah,
Chicago.
definitely. Yeah, for sure.
You weren't walking out of there if you were doing that shit in Chicago.
No way.
But there were people that went there to do that, and there were people that went
Right.
there to fight them, and it was. I mean, I don't know.
A
Hopefully,
lot of good shows in Chicago.
Hell
too.
yeah.
A lot of,
Great.
Yeah.
a lot of great venues and places.
a lot of great punk bands.
Yeah.
I never understood the whole Nazis coming to punk shows.
I
Especially
didn't
like Dead
understand
Kennedys
it
singing
either.
about it and different bands
I
singing
did-
about
I never
Union-
understood it.
Angry kids, man. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I think
Soundtrack
a lot
to
of it
violence.
too, like in Chicago anyway. And I'm just saying, the way that it seemed is like the kids that came from like the Nazi skinhead thing were from like Irish Catholic, like big cop firefighter neighborhoods on like the south side of Chicago, like
Gotcha.
blue collar, probably raised by racist blue collar people that had, I feel like it's a lot of like homebred racism
Right.
Yeah, it
that's
starts in the
from
home
those
for sure.
communities.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
That are of course right up next to African American communities or whoever else they want to blame for their own miseries. It's like,
Right.
in Chicago's such a racially segregated city to this day.
Yeah.
But like Blue Island was where a lot of the Nazis came from, like South Side. It was all like Irish Catholic, blue collar, kind of
yeah.
poorer neighborhoods that like bred this kind of like, I don't know, this ideology that's for Yankees like us on the north side seems wildly ignorant.
It's crazy that people live in small towns and never ever travel and hate black people or different races and never even met a person of a different race. And they've never seen one, but they hate them. And they're stuck in these small towns. They never go see the world and actually meet a person
Right.
and have a conversation.
But I understand where they might get their impressions or ideas from because they might be watching a lot of like TV
Of course.
and like shows and
Stereotypes.
and going with the stereotypes that
Yeah.
And hearing it from their folks, like what I was saying,
especially
what it is.
I mean that is something that's most definite, that
Yeah,
that
it's-
from generation to generation being taught that in such a natural setting.
Yeah, it's like
oh, that's-
alcoholism. It's
right.
like just natural. Like,
Yeah, I'm just used to that and I don't know any different, It's like wow.
Yeah.
It's
I feel like a lot of those things too, where you see people who are like former members of like whatever hate group they
Yeah.
are, or like no matter what, the thing that the common denominator is them meeting someone from the other side that they relate
Right.
to
Yeah.
and realize
Oh.
we're not any different.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
total bullshit.
It's true.
It's,
Yeah.
Like there's an exception to every rule. There's people that fit stereotypes everywhere. There's people that defy that. It's like, and just ignorance. I mean, I'm Captain Obvious here, but it's just like, it's everything, just like
Right.
being ignorant, not meeting people from around the world. That to me is the best lesson anyone can learn for growing as a person, is just traveling and meeting people
Right.
that grew up differently than you, whatever the difference is.
yeah,
I definitely realized that for sure.
I learned way more traveling than in school.
Yeah.
For sure, about history and
Hands
different
down.
countries and going.
And I also realized that, even being in situations where I'm maybe the only black person there and realizing that a lot of these people had never encountered any other person from another race or lived with any other person from another race, having no clue, kind of being from a generation being passed down, that I'm not so hateful, that people would imagine me to be like, oh, you must be hating on those, I'm like, not really. I feel very sorry for them a lot of times. And the next thing is that I want them to really see me as who I am. Like you said, a lot of things are very similar. And once people realize, like, hey, we have a lot of things in common. There's
Way
nothing
more than we don't.
So it's like in that, I think I go with more of that positivity, like people can change. And people aren't, they don't get a choice of where they're born who they're born with,
Yeah.
their family. They don't get to pick those things, and I feel very grateful, that I was born in the situation that I was and around people that, very open-minded. So I take into account, looking at it from their side as well. It's not exactly how I want the world to be, not everything is fair, and that's just the reality of it. So, to go in and just hating takes a lot of energy.
Oh, it does.
It does.
And it's just, I think, better to really kind of be in a natural state of mind and just a very open state of mind and be like, hey, this is what's really going on, and just take it step by step, not to expect to be like best friends, but also not to be that hatred is something that just really doesn't go anywhere.
No, it's exhausting.
It's exhausting.
That anger. I
Right.
mean, I was, just like that sort of anger, like being like hateful is like, I would imagine it just like eats.
Yeah.
You could see like people
yeah.
look older.
Yeah.
People look unhealthy when like you never see like one of these like people on TV, whatever their vibe is. I mean, like, like angry white man clanny people.
Yeah.
Never like, oh wow, he looks like he goes to the gym.
He eats
They
well,
never-
eats his vegetables.
Like, no, they always look like shit because they're fucking just spewing poison. It's like,
Yeah.
it can't be that, I mean, it's something that's obvious, but I love that like it's real easy for me to deal with somebody with compassion, but for
Right.
you to say that is I think pretty powerful and awesome.
Yeah.
Right on.
Especially
Yeah.
you being in the metal band too, and coming into another band and being African American from America, going into a Brazilian band, right? And being in the metal industry, which, the demographics of that definitely changed. since
Definitely
you've been in
different
the
from a
band.
punk and hardcore.
Yeah,
scene,
for sure.
without
Yeah.
a doubt.
It's just probably feeling that kind of energy too, being in Sepultura, right? Just going
Right,
there with
no,
dreads.
absolutely.
This guy from Ohio coming
Right.
from America.
But Sepultura is Brazilian and
Yeah.
huge, and a lot of other, maybe in
Yeah.
the States,
Yeah.
right? Like, I mean, I guess like, but it seems like a band that pretty worldly, right? Like you guys do a lot of touring all
Yeah.
over the place.
All over, man. Like really bizarre and unique and
That's
exotic
awesome.
places. And those are my favorite. I mean, what was the most exotic place that you played where you're like, oh my God,
The
never imagined?
Yeah, we played in South Africa.
Ooh.
And we were like
That's amazing.
one
Yeah,
of the
that.
first American rock bands to ever play there. There had been others, but like none of our contemporaries had been there.
Right.
I think since then people have gone, but we went and
Is it Cape Town?
we played in Cape Town.
Yeah.
We played in Johannesburg.
Yeah.
We played. Have you been there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Durban, Joburg,
yeah.
and Cape Town.
How are the shows? Crazy?
Amazing. Yeah.
That's awesome.
That band Die Outward opened for us.
Wow.
Whoa!
And they're
no
from
way.
out there, too.
They're
Yeah.
from there, but it's they
They're sick.
They're
yeah,
so- I
well,
love it.
but they're not looked at in South Africa the way they are looked at
Okay.
here.
Okay.
Okay.
It's different. I'm not going to go into it.
Okay,
You can
okay,
do
okay.
your homework on your own. But South Africans do not love that band as
Okay,
much as
okay.
Americans do. Hence
Okay.
them opening for us.
Yeah.
see.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah.
Wow.
They're kind of like, yeah. I mean, gee, I don't want to
Okay,
talk
yeah.
shit.
Okay.
But being there, being in that place, like a place where.
Talk about history. Jeez.
Oh my God! Yeah, it was the best time I've ever had. It's the most beautiful place I've ever been. People were so amazing, and people were initially like, "Oh man, it's so dangerous there." It's like, why? There's nothing. There's no war going. I mean, closer to northern Africa, it's obviously there's all kinds of civil war that's been going on and will be going on for a long time, but. In South Africa, like it was, I mean, there's poverty like there is everywhere, but I
Yeah.
have never met like nicer people in my life. Everywhere,
met-
everyone's everyone's
Super
wearing
nice.
a smile.
Yeah.
Everyone's so happy that you're in their country. They hope you love it. It was amazing.
Yeah.
So yeah, that we've been, but that's the one that really stands out as far as like places that not a lot of people have been to.
And you guys
to
ever done military
this-
bases?
What's that?
Military bases where you get flown out to military?
Oh no,
Nah.
we've never done any
I
of
saw
that.
being so it's
either,
interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, South
Yeah, the
Africa's sick.
USO thing. It's like I think they're pretty selective about who they invite over because it
Right.
is such a like security risk, and I'm sure there's a
Yeah.
lot that goes into it, especially if it's like in a hot battle zone. Blink went and did it.
That's what I'm thinking about.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
They played on an aircraft carrier in the Gulf, I think.
Wow.
Wow, man.
And that's not to say I wouldn't. We just haven't.
Mm-hmm.
But Yeah, but I think my short answer is South Africa. We've been a lot of cool places, but that one takes the cake. I mean, I've only been there once, but there was the time. I mean, we dove with great whites. We dove where they film Shark Week. Yeah. You know where that Seal Island is. We dove in there. Partied with giraffes and owls and all kinds of stuff. It was great, but mostly the people there. And we met people in like the tribal regions, like people that live off the land. And they were They're amazing, right? We were all just so interested in each other in just like a childlike, very cool like way that it was cool. Just like we were honored to be there. They were honored to have us. Yeah, we ate in a tree. Like up in a tree, and like the women came, they're wearing nothing, came and painted us with like bird shit on our faces. Wow. It was killer. Yeah. It was really legit. Cool.
Yeah. I had the experience. Like it's like no other place.
You ate in a tree?
I did not eat in a tree or have bird shit.
It was a vegan, like they just naturally their cuisine is vegetarian and lactose free.
That's cool. I love the people though.
Yeah,
like you said,
it was amazing.
Like so many different tribes and different types of people from all around the world there.
And working in like when you're staying in the hotels, people from all over the different and South Africa is its own country. Yeah. You know, there's so many countries within the continent of Africa. Exactly. And so people are from all over have all kinds of different upbringings. It's insane.
That's cool.
It's really, really I love that energy there. It was really emotional, you know, because people are so open and just like so loving, it seems, you know, and they really want you to enjoy your time there. And like I said, the history is so rich, you know, so many things that happen there. And so
I mean, the dawn of civilization.
Yeah.
One huge one. We want to go deep, but it's like, I mean, the birth of music, the birth of humanity. It's a spiritual epicenter.
You feel it.
Yeah, and I feel like the joy and the pride that people have there is just, it's like an earthen thing. It feels like it's part of the land there.
Nice.
Yeah.
It's really something else.
It feels that they still have that connection to the land, you know.
Are the places you guys haven't played, you still want to play?
That's a good question.
I've never been to yet.
I have it in my mind, but I want to hear what you say.
Slovenia. We're playing Slovenia this year. I've never been.
You're gonna love it.
That's great.
Yeah, that's what I hear.
Yeah, I've been there.
Great
place.
Awesome.
You've been there?
Uh-huh.
Nice. Yeah, I've never been to Slovenia. There's a few places we're playing this year. What were you going to say?
Iceland.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Same. Never been there.
Never been there.
Yeah, I always, every time I fly, we were going to shoot something there. Every time we fly over, whenever we fly back from Europe, I always wanted to just take me to, was it Reykjavik?
Yeah, that's the capital.
Drop me off in Reykjavik, where the plane goes. Excuse me.
Oh, yeah.
I want to go to the museum there. They have this thing that I thought somebody was making up, and it's called like the necro suit.
What is that?
Something about death?
I thought, you know, this old tour manager was making it up, but then I did some background research, and I was like, this thing does exist. So they had this folklore where if you wanted to be wealthy and you could do this procedure or this thing like like a ritual, and you would have you'd get your neighbor's like skin, their full body skin, and wear it and do all these weird ritual things. And I was like, that sounds like shit. I was like, that's bullshit.
Yeah.
And then they have the actual skin suit that you wear of like your neighbor in the museum there, like a full
when
body.
You said necro suit, I was like, surely not a suit of death. Oh no, an actual suit. Your neighbor suit.
That's crazy.
It's crazy. You
that
can
old
look it
chestnut.
Up. It was like, I need to see
this. You can't make things like that up. If you can, you're in the wrong business.
And I realized being isolated in such a place like that with darkness, you know, most of the year, I'm sure.
All that fresh air, it just goes straight to your head.
I got another one that's supposed to be true.
Okay.
In Japan, if you're fully tatted, even if you're American, they'll buy your skin from you before you die. And so it's like you sign like, you want to do ashes, you want to donate your skin, and they'll give you money in advance for like if they skin your whole body and keep your whole body suit.
You're gonna be rich.
And have that. That'd be kind of like get an advance, like 70 G's, whatever it is. Go get my hair. Go get my hair done.
Go get your hair did over and stop over in Sweden.
This is amazing. Oh
and sew my skin in advance. I don't know if they want American bodies. I don't know. That's what I heard.
I can't wait to document this.
Do you know what I'm saying?
I thought you were saying I can't wait to die.
But you could, They want you fully tatted though. They don't know if they
Yeah. No, of course.
That'd be kind of sick.
That is sick.
Yeah, I think you're good. You could get that.
Here's a random.
I would just worry. I just would worry up. You wake up in like a bath in a bunch of ice cubes. Like shit. I should have brought a translator.
I'm not saying sell in advance to be skinned alive. You're dead. You buy the skin before you die, bro.
I mean, they probably want like fresh, not like old ass, skin from.
I want to know the people that want the skin.
Me
they
too.
want to put it in a museum. They want to put it in like a House of Horrors or something, I think.
Probably wear it out.
Because over there it's full body suit, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, full body suit for sure.
But Ski, this is a random question. We talked about this yesterday on the podcast with Homeboy. Are there any records that you made of Trio that aren't your favorite, that you don't play any of those songs live?
Yeah.
No.
There's
a record that I don't particularly love. I think it's good that it came out the way I did, but we have a record that I was having the hardest time with my throat. I had all kinds of issues going on, boring story, but I couldn't sing, and the record I sound just completely shredded, and it's a record that people love, and because of that, it's got some of my favorite Trio songs on it, but that's the only thing that I've done that I don't love, but it isn't because of a song there isn't anything I wouldn't play.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Because we're talking about that. Some records we don't love, but then people love that record. That's their first intro to Trio.
What like songs that bring up like bad memories, or like what is it?
Songs that didn't come out the way you want them to come out, or the songs maybe it sounds overproduced, or maybe
I feel like there's something wrong with all you wouldn't get anything done.
Right.
Hopefully you're always like, if you keep making music, hopefully you're always trying to fix those things.
Yeah.
You can only really learn by making those mistakes. But kids don't hear that. It's sort of like the hair plug thing. You're the only one that's going to notice it.
Yeah. Because it's been some of my friends' favorite intros to my band, but then it's just a record that I don't. We talked about it earlier. But
I mean, there's certain things that the drummer in my band, he's younger, and his intro to Metallica is like Saint Anger, and he was like, "Yeah, I love that."
Wow.
Oh yeah.
I was just like, "Wow."
Yeah,
okay.
not Master, not
right. Yeah, I was like, none of the. He's like,
sure it's not
he was like, nope, that's it, Saint Anger. I was like, okay,
you're gonna start somewhere.
Yeah. But it makes sense, when you're that age, and yeah.
When I've had people on here, they're like total hardcore. They're like, Blink or Green Day or Offspring. Even Chappelle, first thing got me punk, Offspring.
True.
Saw the video on MTV.
Yeah.
Do you like that stuff? Like
he's a younger guy, right?
Yeah, and then they like find everything else after that.
That's true.
Which is cool.
I mean, it's like anything, like we were talking about your upbringing or your surrounding, or like whatever your age, like whatever you're exposed to, for better or for worse, is like that's going to be your intro. Saint Anger.
Yeah.
Or the Offspring.
Yeah. Is there? You listen to all types of music though, Skib. So is there a type something you might listen to that people will be like, Matt Skiba likes that? I know you love hip hop, but you listen to all kind of diverse music, right?
I like it. Anything that's good, like anything that, I like it could be anything. I like things that are good. There's a band that I discovered recently called Hairline. They're which is German for healing, and they're like this. They're it's not a rock band. It's not a pop band. It's just like tribal. It's like a pagan tribal Viking Nordic, like old school, like their big thing is we are all brothers. Like it's very every town they play in, they always have whatever native tribes are native to that. Like when they played in Los Angeles, there were a bunch of Native American
that's cool, man.
Tribal members there in full dress, and they did like an opening ceremony with all those people because they're on their sacred land.
Wow,
that's pretty cool,
it's
man.
really beautiful, and it's really like nothing I've ever seen before. So Hairline is a band that I only recently. A friend of mine works is like one of their touring management, but handles their like the touring aspect of the band.
Yeah.
And invited me out, and it's like nothing I've ever heard or seen before. Hairline.
I love that.
But I like anything that's good. I mean, I grew up on. My parents have pretty good taste, a lot of Motown.
Mm-hmm.
But I just did I did a thing for AP, and they asked I did like the 10 post-punk records that you have to know, like that everyone should know, and I gave like Psychedelic Furs and Public Image Limited, but also Public Enemy, Fear of a Black Planet,
right?
NWA, like the stuff that came out to me that was not punk rock genre wise, but was the same
like
piss and vinegar and anarchy and rage, whatever the cause for it was, it came out in a similarly beautiful angsty way that sung to me as punk rock as anything.
Yeah.
But
agree.
yeah, I love anything that's good. I don't know what is good. I guess it's just whatever gives that serotonin dump that happens when you hear something you love. It's just whatever it may be. It could
Were
be
you going to shows a lot in Chicago growing up? Like, what
Hell
age did
yeah.
you start going to shows?
like 11, 12.
Wow.
But I had older cousins that took me to shows.
Do you remember distinctively the first shows you were seeing? What type of bands?
Oh yeah, the very first show I ever saw as a kid was the Judds. Because
The
Judds, like the country band.
I wasn't expecting that.
No, I went against my will. It was the first time I ever smelled weed. I was 6, but when I was really fell in love with music for myself, like when I wasn't just going with my parents to places. The first show I saw was Public Image Limited, and Flesh for Lulu opened. That was in
Flesh for Lulu.
Yeah.
Wow.
That was in 1988 at the Riviera in Chicago. And then shortly after that, the first punk show I went to by myself and snuck away from home to see was Social Distortion, and the Screaming Trees opened for them when they were on SST.
Yeah.
So
that's amazing.
That's
man.
cool.
I remember I used to save the little stubs from all the shows. I was crazy about it.
Love Social Distortion.
I do.
Definitely.
I still love
Absolutely.
Social
Still love
Distortion.
Social Distortion, man. Shout out to Mike Ness, man.
Hell yeah.
Legend. What about you? What was your first show, Derek? I don't think I've ever said it on the podcast. Probably 1,000 times.
First show I saw David Lee Roth when he just left Van Halen.
Damn.
So it was an incredible lineup of musicians
Oh,
Steve
that
Vai.
record is great.
It's great. It was
Eat 'em and Smile.
Yeah.
Eat 'em and Smile.
Huge.
Oh
I
yeah.
think Rat opened up.
It was as big as Van Halen. I love those records.
Yeah.
Cliffhanger is good too.
Rat opened up. Wow.
I think Rat opened up, or was it Cinderella? I couldn't remember. But I went with a friend, his mom. She had these seats, and I was like, oh my god.
I love Rat and Cinderella too.
So
I loved Cinderella.
I wasn't so much into them.
I figured
But
I was
David
alone
Lee
on
Roth,
that one.
I was
but-
Van Halen. Yeah.
What year was that?
Oh God, I don't even
84?
know. I was super young, man.
1984 was when the Van Halen record came out, so it was 85, 86.
Yeah. And then the first punk show was definitely Cro-Mags.
That's a sick
Age of
one.
Quarrel tour.
What year was that?
That was 86.
Oh,
Yeah, that's when the shit came out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
86. And then Bad Brains for the next week. It was Eye Against Eye tour. I think.
Oh, I love that
With
record.
Leeway?
No,
Was that the
that
quick-
was
that was-
later.
that was a Quickness tour in 89.
Yeah.
Damn.
So yeah.
You saw Bad Brains back then too, Skeeb?
I did.
Nice.
Crazy, man.
I did in Chicago on the Eye Against Eye tour.
Oh yeah.
I love that record. I mean, I love the older stuff too, the Rick O'Kay, the obviously band in DC and all that stuff. But Eye Against Eye was you talk about how the stuff I went backwards.
Yeah.
So Eye Against Eye came out and I fell in love with that record, and then I went back to.
That's what I did too.
Yeah, it was just what came out, and
Right.
they were playing on that.
Yeah.
But I love Bad Brains.
Quickness too, and I love those records. I
I
like the
love
old
them.
ones too, the fast ones, but I
Yeah.
like the more bouncy, the reggae stuff. The more
I love how it radically changed, the sound. With Rick Ocasek, you're saying, producing it.
But it did kind of the opposite, right? The Rick Ocasek doing it was that It Pay to Come and all those hyper crazy backflip songs.
Right.
And then it turned more into the groovy
Yeah,
stuff without Rick Ocasek.
Interesting. Yeah, it's
That's
interesting.
right. Yeah.
Maybe he's trying to get his hardcore street cred on or something.
I mean, I think he just has a good taste. That guy's that guy's a G. I love Rick Ocasek.
He's sick. Does he still produce?
No, he died.
Oh shit.
Yeah, he did that Weezer Blue record.
Didn't know that.
He did the Blue record.
Now
He
it
did
all
the
makes sense.
he
Oh,
did the
man.
Green record. I
Such a
think.
great songwriter, man.
Yeah, Rick is a
love
G.
this
Who
stuff. Yeah.
produced your new record?
Cameron Webb,
Same one I met. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah.
Motorhead fame.
Yeah, I got to work with him.
Right.
Sing, I
I met him with
we
you.
went.
Yeah.
I sang on
Cool
Urethane's
guy.
record with Steve Caballero's band.
Oh yeah, he does Urethane
And he
too.
produced me that day. I was like, damn, this guy's
He's
a legit
really
producer.
cool.
Cameron's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
He was cool. He has all the Motorhead amps and stuff in there.
Yeah.
The
Yeah, him and
studio.
Lemmy were real
Lemmy,
close.
Yeah.
You did a lot of records with them, right?
7 or 8 records.
That's awesome. You trust somebody like that.
Yeah.
Working with him.
Lemmy's a big history buff. He has
Oh, yeah.
a huge collection
Yeah.
of World War
II
II
daggers. Yeah.
Everything.
Swords.
Everything.
Everything.
His whole apartment
Yeah.
filled.
It's definitely Yeah, it's like during COVID. I mean, I've always been like a world history freak, but and I've always been like into antiques. And obviously, Lemmy had like a very specific taste in collecting.
People are like, it's like very suspect.
Yeah, he's suspect shit.
Does he have heads in the freezer too? Like it's suspect, but I mean that guy also. I mean. He said things that I'd never heard. I don't know Lemmy incredibly well, but I never heard him say a hateful thing in his life. He would always say like, I'm not a racist. I'm not like, if I was, I think I'd probably just say I was. Nothing
to hide. Yeah,
true.
This is what interests me, and it's definitely like, I mean, but that movie definitely turned some heads when it came out, man. I was like, I remember I saw the Lemmy movie in the theater, and I was like, holy shit, they're just showing it.
I know it's a movie, it's a documentary.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's in a documentary, and it's just all like SS daggers on the wall. And, and
his whole collection.
Yeah,
he had a lot of stuff, and Lemmy, like Motorhead. When I joined, the manager of Motorhead ended up managing us.
Oh shit!
So we did a tour of Motorhead, and it was one of my favorite tours we've ever done. And Lemmy was like a god on tour. He's the most straight up amazing person.
And he's such a huge fan of like black music and culture, like
Thank you.
B.B. King and Little Richard, and like it's all he talks about.
Yeah.
It's like, generally those guys like their Wagner, and that's about it.
Right. Yeah.
Or whatever the fuck.
Yeah. And the thing is, with his collection, his whole thing, it was like he's donating all that to the Jewish Museum. And so that was like another huge thing that people didn't know.
Yeah, I know the guy that did his I know the guy that basically when he died, they took like stock of all the stuff that he owned and that he was like donating. It's a huge collection that I mean, a lot of the people that sell that stuff online are it's like spoils of war from like Jewish historical societies that sell a lot of those daggers and iron crosses and all of that stuff. But
the Iron Cross is interesting when to talk about, because you know about it.
Right.
And I know Warzone has the logo, and I know as of the most recent in this new world that people were trying to say things about that logo and what it means in America at this moment, and kids wearing those shirts and people saying things to them about wearing those shirts. So for the listeners, the Iron Cross, I've seen it everywhere. I've seen it.
Iron Cross was out before World War II.
World War I.
It was World War I, and there were Jewish people that were fighting in World War I for Germany.
Yeah.
I mean, people have to memorize that there were a lot of Jews that were living in Germany, especially before World War II, and fighting in World War I.
Yeah, and who were anti-communist and who were like, I mean, that were nationalistic. World War I is what, like the Hussars too, like the skull, the death's head skull even was, all of that, everything that the Nazis used was taken from other movements.
Exactly.
And bastardized and made to use. And I feel like in the 80s, in like hardcore and in punk rock, there was a time where like bands like Fear or bands like, no matter what kind of like punk rock they were, and now I think more than ever, even like hip hop bands are doing it, like using dodgy imagery as like social commentary, not as like a direct representation of one's ideology.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And in the 80s, I think too, like punk rock, it was like you could. Even the Sex Pistols, like Sid wearing the swastika and stuff, like those guys weren't Nazis, they weren't racist, they weren't, but it was like, whether wearing a swastika is a hard fucking look, I admit, but it's like, that wasn't the intention. It was like Vivienne Westwood was making all those shirts and stuff for them, and it was social commentary. It wasn't like a direct representation. And I think that a lot of the early punk rock stuff, there were things that bands got away with, even lyrically back then, that you could say
for sure.
like as a form of mockery or a form of like like it being used in jest, whereas like everyone takes everything so literally now.
Yeah.
And I guess it's kind of, they have to. There's just people saying some wild, I mean, they always have been saying wild shit, and I think that's the point. But now I feel like the less people are just so glued to their screens that everything's become so like literal and so offensive that that's exactly what it is, and that's what it means. And I hate them for saying that. And it's like, unfortunately,
no, that's it. Yeah.
A lot of people nowadays that are wearing that are saying something very hateful and ideologically like anti-Semitic or racist or whatever hateful shit. But it just means something different. I think back in the day, it was saying kind of the opposite in saying it. Right?
Absolutely. I agree 100%.
Yeah.
I mean, I was a big fan of Reagan Youth.
I mean, a lot of
you're right. And a lot of the things, it's like a fold out with like the Klan.
Oh yeah, and they
the
had all the priests, like Sig Heiling.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just
it was hardcore, and I was like, "Yo, this is really saying a lot." And I had the poster in my room.
I love Reagan.
You did?
Youth.
Reagan Youth, yeah. I was a huge fan.
I remember my mom hearing that song and the Reagan Youth, Sig Heil.
Yeah.
And I love Reagan Youth because they were anti all that shit.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They were hardcore against that.
It's the same exact thing.
Yeah.
It was like anti-racist, anti-fascist, but they used this imagery of these Nazi priests that were very much part of history to make the point. And
same with MDC.
Yeah, it's like
MDC imagery was
it's a perfect
sick.
example. Reagan Youth is a great example of that. That just would not, people would just take it on its face.
Oh yeah,
and they would have a bunch of Swazis at the show.
Yeah,
even Dead Kennedy's Moon pulled out a poster there, Frankenchrist or something. It's like a spreadsheet, it's all just buttholes, just random pictures, like the artwork for Dead Kennedy's.
Buttholes.
Or just like Holiday in Cambodia. Just all those records was so as a kid, it was so fucking shocking to me seeing this artwork and stuff. Like, what the fuck is this?
People have to go in depth and read lyrics and understand what was going on. A lot of times people have a hard time nowadays, especially young kids, to really break things down. Like even read.
They don't want to. They want to see a clip. They want to see
they can't break things down in their own mind.
Yeah.
It seems
short attention span.
Yeah, it's not 15-second reel. It's not
right.
They don't want to read into it. They want to see the headlines and you know what I mean? Like
yeah.
And they just want it for what it is. They don't have time to to look into something. And that I'm sure there's tons of brilliant kids that
for sure.
see where our conversation is just way out of their way below their paid grade, but unfortunately most people are like that. They want it exactly the way it is.
Yeah.
And like you said, no ifs, ands, or buts. And I like the things that make you think about things.
Yeah.
I mean, there's also something a little more benign like Spinal Tap. Like people showing up to Spinal Tap shows with long hair, like ready to rock, was amazing. Like when Spinal Tap would tour, I love going to Spinal Tap shows because you just see people wearing all the gear and they're fucking into it and have no idea that they're comedians.
It's amazing.
They think that it's a rock show. It's like, oh my God.
The people going to Stonehenge. Taking the photos, it's all that stuff.
I mean, people go to Stonehenge who've never heard of Spinal Tap. They've been doing it for way longer.
No, but I'm sure they have blown up. But they blew it up in the movie, don't you think?
They didn't. They did the opposite of blow it up.
Yeah.
Well, you know what I mean.
That was
they
such
shrunk
a brilliant
it down.
movie.
Oh my God,
so goofy, man.
It's still one of the best.
But I remember they toured in. They played at the Aragon in Chicago, and I was like, "Holy crap! These people think they're a real band." I mean, they put out records and shit, but the songs are ridiculous, bro. It's so stupid. But I mean, that's now. It's just like Confederacy of Dunces. Just Jesus.
There's probably some popular bands that are pretty much Spinal Tap bands that industry made, just all joking, just making money and getting over
Steel
on people.
Panther.
I mean,
Steel Panther was sick.
But
Steel Panther.
Steel Panther, but
cover songs.
I mean, they weren't whatchamacallit. Spinal Tap wasn't like, that wasn't their story. Their backstory where they were like high school friends. But every band that takes themselves seriously is Spinal Tap.
Yes.
Like you start taking yourself too seriously, and that's your to me Spinal Tap is the best. It's just
it's brilliant.
A cautionary tale for musicians taking
Rob
themselves.
Reiner, man. Genius.
It's
Rob Reiner.
so genius.
You take yourself seriously, Sepultura? You guys are pretty serious.
Yeah, but
I saw you guys perform recently. It was very professional.
It's very serious,
The
but then you have
lights.
to laugh.
Oh, you gotta be able to laugh at yourself.
you fuck up.
Yeah, I mean, it becomes immediately Spinal Tap comes to mind whenever we're taking it way too serious.
Yeah, but there are things. I mean, your fanship, the kids that give you your career. In my opinion, anyway,
right.
your fans are the reason that you get to do it. And you should take that absolutely seriously.
Sure.
But people in the mirror taking themselves so seriously, on a daily in and out, that they're some great creator of something that's just changing people's lives.
I thought of a band right now. I'm not going to say the
I
name.
love that. Changing people's lives. This is another joke we say, let's go out there and change people's lives.
Exactly.
I know now. I realize
that's amazing.
I realize now that Derek does not take it, because when I saw you perform, everybody's all dressed in black. They're going off. You're wearing your shoes from Runyon Canyon and your Runyon Canyon shorts. You're wearing your shit. You go
On
out
stage.
there on stage.
Nice.
I was like, yes. And there's some random shirt. Everybody else is like all
It's so
backed out.
true.
But you're just like, you're in your fucking running shoes. I love it.
I need to get
dude.
it together though. I need a serious wardrobe.
Maybe get
You
black.
don't,
farewell.
though. You
Or maybe
don't.
not. I know. It would
I
be,
think it's great.
See,
it
that's
would
not
feel
fun.
silly anyway if I was wearing anything different.
Yeah.
I know. When I look at photos from back in the day before my first hardcore band, I'm like, wow, it's pretty much the same shit I'm wearing. Like,
That's awesome, though. You know who you are. Like you
Right.
don't have to go through any like.
You guys changed it up though, like
Yeah.
button ups and ties and changed
That's
t-shirts.
It's
cool.
definitely
I-
like
I admire that.
They've been through that. Yeah, different styles. Right?
I'm reading this book by David Byrne right now called How Music Works, and it's so cool. Like, there's a guy that takes himself seriously but isn't cheesy about it. Like, it's like I think there's something to be said too for like the quote unquote like pretty rock star person,
Yeah.
the type that Spinal Tap makes fun of.
You
I
talking
think
the Talking Head singer?
yes,
Amazing.
Yeah, that guy is
David
amazing.
Byrne, yeah.
Bro.
And so he's talking about like the different looks and the intention of like becoming, they grew up in punk rock in New York, of course.
Yep.
But they were trying to fit in like business. They were trying to look like every man. They wanted in a very purposeful way to look like squares at the punk show.
that's
So they're
cool.
wearing suits. They're trying to
Yeah.
look like the people that punks are against.
Yeah.
And it's really
pretty
interesting
cool.
to hear
Yeah.
all these different like costume ideas as like an art form, as a way like as the a means of communication, not only with your music but like what you look like. And David Byrne's approach to the whole thing, his book is I'm burning through it. It's called How Music Works. It's so good. It just came out.
check
It's,
that
out.
it's
Wow.
really, really good.
He's got something on Broadway too. He had something over there, right?
He's got.
did?
I mean, he's
Wow.
been doing like
Killing it.
films, plays. He would study like ancient Eastern theater. Like was living in overseas in all these different places, studying
Yeah.
ancient African music, like the stuff we were talking about, like African music and the dawn of civilization and all those things. He goes deep into in this book in such interesting ways that. Better
Yeah.
read than described, but it's. I think anybody would enjoy the book who likes to read.
And I like a lot of your influences are not just music. It's you love movies, you love art, you love authors, all that stuff. You combine all that with Trio. You've always been like that, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think that, again, like if it's good, it's like I love. To me, they're all one thing. Like a great writer, great musician, great painter, great storyteller. No matter what, it's all the same
Yeah.
thing. That it's like communicating some story or another. Whether it's, but yeah, I mean, the simple answer is yeah.
Yeah.
I always have I'm like a total bookworm. I love film, so
Yeah,
I'm
me
always
too.
watching something. I mean, we work with directors on our videos and stuff, and they're like, you know more about movies than most movie people I know.
Yeah.
And I'm just a nerd. It's like, it's not to show off. It's not to say that I know anything that somebody doesn't. I'm genuinely in love with it.
Would you ever want to put a book out and also direct something?
Yeah.
I
For
can
sure.
I could see you totally doing that.
I would write something that I felt like I don't want to just write something to do it, because I feel like, especially if you're a musician, you can kind of you could get in movies if you wanted to. You don't even really
Yeah.
have to be very good, and I think that's kind of a shame. I think if you're gonna step outside of what you normally do, you should do it well. You should do it at least as well as what you do music, like whatever afforded you that opportunity. And I do want to do those things, but I want to do them well.
Yeah.
And I feel like those are, the time hasn't come for me to where I don't have anything worth writing yet.
I hear what you're saying.
But reading this David Byrne book and his age, I think it's the first thing he's ever written. And it's like,
Yeah.
that's the perfect time to do it.
Yeah.
A certain part in your life where you feel like, I mean, we all have stories probably 10 years into our careers or whatever, but
Yeah.
the older you get, I think the better your stories are going to be.
I feel like you're a poet too and a writer. You're so much more than just a songwriter.
Oh,
to me,
thanks.
like incredible artist. Your painting, lots of stuff you do, punk rock and paintbrushes, just your art in general, just the way you express yourself. It's not just one way you get it out.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
I appreciate that. But I think we're all kind of like that. Like we all love other things. Like music is kind of the main thing, I think, and the most universal thing. I think it's one of
Yeah.
the most as far as art forms, I feel like it's the most powerful way and like immediate way to express oneself. It's the easiest to fall in love with, I think, and the easiest to perform.
Yeah.
What to make something. It doesn't even have to be grandiose or even well done to get to people. But I feel like even the simplest story, like Cormac McCarthy's writing is so like he doesn't use fancy
God,
$5 words. Yeah, it's simple. It's simple.
Your favorite?
He's one of the top 5 favorite.
Yeah, mine
writers
too.
of mine.
That guy, and it's not frilly. It's just like it's that life experience and that kind of get that. Even his early stuff, Child of God, I read recently, and that book
That's
just
so
like
amazing.
gutted me.
Yeah.
I've never read Child of God. I was like, holy shit.
Yeah.
I can't believe this guy's walking free after writing this.
Yeah.
It's
Super
so,
heavy?
Oh, God.
Okay.
Serial killer, dark.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I've always been like, I need to see more of his shit, like movies. Country for Old Men was Cormac McCarthy.
Oh, it was?
And he
Oh,
wrote
shit, I didn't know
that. He
Okay.
wrote that
Yeah.
for the. I mean, he wrote that book for the screen, and then with the Coen. I think it was because of the process of making that movie. Josh Brolin would know the answer to
Okay,
that.
I'm going to ask you, Josh.
Ask Josh, but I think McCarthy initially wrote it as a screenplay, and then they said you should write it as the book, and then we'll adapt it into the film that the Coen brothers did.
Wow.
And I'm pretty sure I heard that from Josh, but ask him.
That's amazing. And also, I mean, my favorite book that he wrote was Blood Meridian.
Oh yeah, I was just talking about that with my mom today. And Stephen King said he's like, there's like, and it might even be he was talking about Blood Meridian. I can't remember where I read. Oh, he has a book called On Writing. Stephen King On Writing, nonfiction, just a writer companion kind of thing that came out a couple years ago, and it's great. But he's talking about Cormac McCarthy, and he's like, there's pages of Cormac McCarthy where I don't understand what he's talking about. But and there's words that he uses that I feel like he may even be making up, but it makes you feel such a certain way. It like paints the page in such a specific way with such a specific color that like only Cormac McCarthy can do that.
Yeah.
And I thought that was great. And he doesn't use maybe he is making up words, it's like.
I mean, I read that he was getting a lot of his information from diaries from the past.
From his own diaries or from other
people.
people's?
Yeah,
wow.
other people's.
That makes sense.
Yeah. That were from that time period that he's writing about, like diaries from people from that time period.
Yeah,
so the dialogue and everything is very
that's
real.
really smart.
Yeah.
That's really cool. I love that you love McCarthy. He's like
God,
it's just chillingly good. And it just goes to show like you don't need to be. I don't think he ever took writing courses. He just started doing it.
Man, it's powerful.
Did you ever see Oprah Winfrey interviewed him? I think when the road came out.
No way.
It's one of the most interesting interviews.
I didn't realize.
I'll send it. I'll send it to you when we're done.
I have to.
But
see
he's
that.
just like she's like better seen than described. But
Okay.
he's so dry. She's just like, so what is it like to be famous? He's like, I don't care about being famous. He's so just like what you would expect times 100. Mm-hmm. So dry, doesn't care. Like he's so awkward talking to her. But in such a great way. If he was all comfortable and he's not. He's like curling up into himself, and he's just like, I just write stories. That's all I know. It's just the simplest shit, but what a genius.
Man, he's a genius.
She's just like, she's got she's a well-read person and obviously a huge fan of his.
Right.
But you could tell even she's just baffled by his answers. They're so good, but honest. It's just like he doesn't care about anything outside of the story he's trying to tell. What you got?
I got Josh Brolin on the phone.
Nice.
What's
Josh,
up?
what were you guys talking about? The writer for No Country for Old Men?
Cormac McCarthy. We were talking about. Hey, Josh. We were talking about the
What's up?
the chicken or the egg with No Country. I said I think that McCarthy wrote it as a screenplay initially, and then it became a book, but that you would probably know.
How did you know that? How did you find that out?
I think just nerding out on McCarthy and No Country and the film. I think you might have said that in an interview. No.
There you go. Now we just caught you reading my interviews. That's cool.
Yeah. Watching, reading. I'm always watching you, Josh.
Oh, so that's where it came from, Josh?
No, that's the truth, and not a lot of people know that. He wrote that as a screen. He told me that he wrote
That's
that as
amazing.
a screenplay first, and it didn't sell. And then he wrote it as a book, and then it sold to Scott Rudin, and then was made into a screenplay. And I know the Coens say when they did it, they go, yeah, we adapted it, but we really copied it. There's nothing that's not in the book other than the last 45 pages in the book with Llewellyn when he hangs out with the girl. In the movie, you see the girl that he meets at the pool.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
That's actually like 45 pages in the book. So I guess they cut that out just for time purposes.
And the dog.
That's cool though, man.
And the dog was added, I think.
Was the dog added?
I believe it was. It's not in the book.
The whole movie is the dog to me. That's all.
Oh,
I
it's
remember
great.
about the
I
movie.
love it.
Josh.
Dog is, especially if it's added, it's such a cool thing to add. What?
Yeah.
Yo, JB, as soon as you said that, Stella farted, and it stinks really bad.
Dude, it makes me. Anytime anybody farts now, I think I'm in your kitchen.
He got farted during the podcast.
Oh, you got farted on. Yeah.
Josh, I love you. Thank you for your time.
Dang.
Thanks, Josh.
You guys, all
Thanks,
right.
buddy.
Peace, bye. There we have it. Holy
That's
shit.
awesome.
That's awesome.
So we broke that down.
Like, at
Wow.
what age did you start getting into books? Have you always been?
Dude, that dog just wreaked havoc on this kitchen. Josh is in the mix.
Yo, he
buddy.
farted on Josh. He
was definitely-
farted on all the best people. Skiba,
Stella
Josh.
better not fart on me.
Damn, it was all that veggie bacon I was giving her.
Yeah.
Sorry, Derek. What did you ask about?
He's
the-
always been reading since he was a kid.
yeah.
You.
Yeah. I mean, I loved Stephen King when I was a kid. A lot of it too, though. I was into. I looked up to people that read. I feel like
Okay.
they seemed like smarter to me or something. So as a kid, I loved the idea of reading, but I really didn't fall in love with it until later when I could really pay attention to it and
Right,
absorb.
right.
Like as a kid, I definitely was reading older stuff. Like age 6 or 7 reading Carrie or things that I just didn't life experience, like sexual things or things that I just didn't have any clue about. Hard to like paint that picture in your head. So, but I always wrote, whether it was good or not, probably not very, but there were like young author things that I would always get really excited about and submit for. So yeah, I've always loved literature, the idea of it anyway.
Right.
He's a great songwriter, man. That's why I think you could put it like a lyric book or a poem book or something.
Right.
I could see you doing that. You're a true artist to me.
Well, thank you. I
True
appreciate
artist,
that.
man.
I truly love art. I think that anybody that does probably is, or wants to be a part of it in some way.
Yeah.
But I appreciate that, Tobe. Thank you.
What inspired the new record? And what is it? What do you think? Triple questions, I guess. It's been 5 years. I myself have long gaps between records. It's probably like 7 years now, but I don't like to make records just to make them like the machine. Like, time to do a record, do a new T-shirt,
yeah.
go back
It
on
comes
tour, do
very
the cycle
mechanical,
again.
yeah.
I do it when it comes to me, be inspired. So, like, what inspired that, and why do you think it took 5 years? Also, you were doing Blink, but to make the new record.
Honestly, like we wrote the new I feel like I was talking about this with somebody the other day, like with an interviewer about songwriting, and maybe you guys will agree. Like specifically, I was talking to a friend of mine who's a writer, and they said that they haven't been like putting pen to paper, that they felt lazy, and that they felt like they need to start working harder and start getting back to writing every day. And my point was that it's not lazy. I feel like when you're not paying attention is where you get most of your ideas from.
Yeah.
It's not that you're sitting there with a pen and paper and going, "Ooh, that's a good lyric," or "That's a good
You're
thing." I mean, I
absolutely
do
right.
that.
Yeah.
I always have pen and paper next to me right now just to write down something somebody says or something
Cool.
you think of. But for the most part, most of the great ideas come from just living. And those times where you're not expecting something great, where you're just taking the garbage out, or waking up in the morning and being thoughtless, or just like letting things happen. I think you're always, if you're a writer, you're always kind of recording things in some sense or another. So
Yeah.
as far as this record is concerned, though, when we started writing the lyrics, like I saw this a documentary about the 9/11 attacks called Turning Point, and it's like a 5 or 6 part docu-series, however many parts it is. It's a documentary series, and one of them had this like montage of victims' phone calls home to husbands, daughters, parents.
I've seen it. I've fucking seen this, I think.
It was a big
So
doc
heavy.
that came out, and it was on like Netflix and
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
But it was these conversations that people were having with their loved ones, like oftentimes just leaving messages because the machine picked it up.
Yeah. It's heavy.
And the things and like the absolute terror in people's voices, but also like the strength and the love of like somebody that knows they're about to die and they're never going to see their loved ones again, and what they're saying to them. To me, like, there are things that are about the actual circumstances of that thing, or like wondering what it's like to be that person, or I mean, you're hearing it, so you're getting a pretty clear idea of what people's characters are in those final moments, or where their priorities lay at a very basic level. It was very powerful to me. And I feel like the whole, just like the end of the world as quickly as it's occurring, and how quickly we're learning about it on a moment to moment basis and right in front of us, definitely inspired almost all the lyrics on this record.
Gotcha.
Like there is some personal stuff, but it all happens kind of against this landscape of apocalypse.
Yeah, that's
and like cyber just brainwashing.
Yeah, and the video is like Animal Chin meets Thriller. The video guy shot at the Pink Motel.
Yeah, that was the idea. That was Robbie, the director, came up with all of it.
Chris Cole and Steve Caballero's in there.
Yeah,
it's cool.
Yeah.
It's like zombied out. I guess it's cool. It's a good total throwback vibe to it.
Animal Chin meets Thriller.
Yeah, I mean, there's like these little girls that actually do the Thriller dance at one point.
Yeah.
But, or like, you know, when I was talking to the director, we were just spitballing ideas, and I said, I love the old 80s videos like David Lee Roth, when he give me a donut and a bottle of anything or whatever, that had dialogue and that had like a story to tell. Those early 80s like rock and hip hop video, Beastie Boys videos, David Lee Roth, whoever it was. I mean, the
like,
Dre videos with Steve Berman and all that stuff.
And also Twisted Sister,
all that shit.
Yeah.
So that was kind of the thing. And so we, of course, went back to Thriller being one of the big ones.
Yeah.
Great one.
And, you know, so it was, definitely the impetus for that video was Thriller and Animal Chin.
Disney, we just watched the Making a Thriller doc.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
Oh, really?
It's
Making
phenomenal.
the
Watch
album?
it together.
Making the
video?
album, the video, the whole.
So Quincy Jones is all over it and stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, hell yeah.
Everybody's.
I love that record so much.
Incredible,
Off the wall,
man.
too.
From the beginning to the end of the album, we're sitting there like every song was
Billie Jean.
above and beyond. Like every song.
And he
like,
said
such
he
a
wanted to
good
make the
record.
biggest record in the world. That's what he was saying.
the biggest record in the
Yeah,
world.
he said that.
Appealing to everyone from every genre of music. And he had that.
There was like even punk rock elements to it. Like even the leather outfits and shit, like
David
metal.
or Eddie Van Halen.
Because he wanted to cross over to the rock
cross
world.
over to the rock world.
Yeah.
And he
And
specifically
he had Steve Stevens playing on some of the later stuff. I mean,
it's genius. Man.
He knew exactly what he wanted to do with the record,
what
like where he wanted to hit.
Let alone having
song.
did Eddie
dance
Van
and
Halen play on Thriller?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He
He was the
did.
lead, yeah.
And
Oh,
the
shoot.
dude from Africa or Toto?
Toto.
Toto,
He wanted
yeah.
Captain Toto.
Toto writes some crazy
God.
songs, dude.
Crazy.
songs, dude.
But then not only that, to put dance moves that people are still imitating today.
Oh, God.
You know, like all of it together, like the elements, like who does that?
Yeah, who can do that? I'm gonna set out to make the best record ever, and actually does it, and invents a whole like society around it, or like a whole movement.
And all the videos, all the videos and
internationally,
movies.
like worldwide.
Oh, yeah.
You go anywhere, people are like, oh,
Seoul, Korea, everyone's wearing the glove
Yeah.
and the red leather.
Everyone.
And then Thriller
Everyone.
was like a movie. That video was.
It was a movie.
So like,
It
he
was-
changed everything with that kind of stuff. Videos.
Yeah.
Every single video was different.
When it
Yeah.
that it's a documentary.
yeah, it's
Oh,
incredible.
now.
I'll check it. I love that record so
Oh,
much.
man, you're gonna love it. Then you're gonna get
Vincent
goosebumps.
Price is on that record.
They talk to
I mean,
him.
the
They
horror
go. They
thing.
go into full depth of every aspect of that album in the making. It's fascinating.
Have you tattooed people before me or just me or other people? Because I got a Skiba tat.
I have tattooed. I mean, I'm bad at it.
He tattooed me in my living room on my bar.
Wow.
Yeah, I have
Yeah.
pictures of it.
Have
Max,
you done more?
Max tattooed
Oh,
me.
that's right.
I have my
Wow.
bandmate Danny gave me the NWA tattoo.
That's a hard one.
and I showed it to Dre, and he loved it.
Wow, that's sick.
I showed it to. Yeah, I was super pumped.
Nice.
That I got Dre's approval for the white boy with NWA, and Max tattooed, and then
That's
opposite my wrist it says NWA on one and Max
Sick.
on the other in almost the same fonts. But Dan, my bandmate Danny, gave me that one, and then Max, your son,
That's cool.
gave me Max.
You haven't really done
sick.
tats since then, really, though, no?
I did yours. I did my friend Matt Steinke and I tattooed each other. We tattooed Bojo. I mean, I've always just written like crappy
Yeah.
things. Like we thought Bojo was German for buddy. It's not. It doesn't mean anything. But we all have Bojo tattoos and call each other Bojo.
What's it mean?
I don't know. It was just like, we were on tour for too long or something. But I still, when I talked to Matt, I'm always like, hey, Bojo. It's like something he came up with.
Yeah.
But now my knee says Bojo. You, Dan, I've tattooed maybe like 4 people
Sick.
in my life.
I got one of them. Psyched.
Nice.
I'm gonna get Max
nice.
to tattoo me for his 21st birthday next week.
Oh wow.
This week. Yeah.
What are you gonna have him?
December
tattoo?
21.
Where is he gonna tattoo?
He's 21 of me. He did 11 on me.
He did mine when he was like 6.
Yeah. We need
Where
new
are
tats.
you gonna do it?
Just
You
on my
have
arm
no
still, but we need
space.
new ones for Max. It'd be cool because he's 21 now. This guy's a big part of Max's life, man.
Right.
Big part of
Yeah.
Max's
Yeah.
life. So many great, amazing stories. We talked about that in episode 49.
Mhm.
For the listeners, you can go back and hear that. But like
Yeah.
painting and doing all kinds of stuff with him and being creative is
Yeah,
man.
I remember
His
one
first
time.
drum set, trio drum set.
Nice.
Yeah. Got him his first kit. I remember Moon didn't talk to me for a couple days because she came home from me babysitting and the house was just covered in paint.
Oh.
And I think she had
man.
just gotten the place like it was like when you guys had your friend.
Yeah.
When,
After the HTV makeover. with
Oh
Antonio.
yeah, Anthony.
All the sinks were
Anthony,
covered
yeah.
in paint. It was cute. though.
Antonio.
after Antony did the.
They were
did the
both
thing.
covered in paint when we opened the door. Both.
I think there might have been paint everywhere. But no, Moon was actually awesome about it. But I could tell we were in trouble.
No, it's okay. And now Max is this crazy surfer.
Yeah, took Max surfing for the first time.
Yeah, man.
And now I'm trying to get him to give me surfing lessons.
Yeah, he's incredible at
Fucking
surfing.
savage, dude.
Yeah.
It's so
I love it. I'm
crazy.
so proud of him. I mean, we so many things. Like I spent most of the time when I've been home, in Max's like youth, I would be with him for the most
Yeah,
part
man.
when I was home.
Yeah.
So
Did you ever want kids?
no, not really.
Respect it.
No, I mean
Some people just
I
don't want them.
I just
You're a great uncle.
yeah, I'm good at uncling. I feel like I could step up and be a good dad if I needed to, but yeah, my nieces and nephews and Max
Yeah.
included are like they're my favorite people in the world.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't feel the need to be a,
Yeah.
it hasn't hit me yet. I haven't like been with somebody. I was married.
Yeah.
We both agreed we didn't want to have children at the time. But yeah, I don't know. I don't have any deep desire, and that could change. I mean, luckily, for me, it's an easier choice.
Yeah.
But I don't have any deep desire to have children. Never
You feel
have.
like you're in a good place in your life right now?
I
You're at
do.
your age, everything. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel better than I have. I definitely, I don't party the way I used to. Nobody could. You only can get away with that for so long.
Right.
And I didn't even get away with it. I was bad at it.
Right.
I don't think anyone's good at that shit. So, but I feel better. I feel younger and healthier than I ever have.
Yeah, you work out a lot. You're always at the gym or hiking and stuff, right?
I like to hike. I don't love the gym.
I don't love it
I'll
either.
go
I hate
like
the gym.
yeah.
You gotta
it's
do it.
like
Though it's necessary,
Yeah.
though, right? Yeah.
I mean, it's necessary to get exercise. Like when it's nice out. Today I went to the gym just because it was raining a little bit. But I'd much rather take a hike or go surfing,
Yeah.
or even just do push-ups in the backyard than
Yeah,
go
yeah.
to the gym.
Yeah, I hear you.
But when it's crummy out, I'll go sit in the sauna. Your sauna.
Said I'm down, man. Yeah.
But I went to the gym today, and I definitely feel like I have to try and at least break a sweat somehow or another every
Yeah,
day.
yeah.
Do you do a
Like,
lot of training before a tour, or you try to get that in, or no?
No, I just try and keep it like a little bit every day.
Right.
You know. Excuse me. Like on tour, I'll wake up and we're usually walking around. I mean, especially in Europe, you walk
Yeah,
everywhere
yeah.
and you're checking things out.
Oh yeah.
Even cities
Get
in
your
the States
steps in.
where just get your steps in. Even if it's like a BS, like just go walk a couple miles or something.
Yeah.
Like we all have to get our steps in.
Where's the tour kicking off?
I'll tell you, it kicks off
okay.
at Drug Church in February
Anaheim.
2nd in Anaheim.
February 22nd, right?
February.
In the U.S. of
I thought it was
A.
February 2nd.
22nd.
Okay.
Close.
So you're gonna
Kicks
start
off
in
February
America.
22nd Anaheim with Drug Church. Drug Church is dope. too.
Drug Church and the Warriors are
Sick.
opening.
They're opening the whole tour in America.
They are, yeah. The Warriors and Drug
It's in
Church.
North America, so Canada as well.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. And then where are you going? What's the plan?
Then
Probably
we go to
everywhere.
Europe, but Slovenia will be on that trip.
That's cool.
Yeah,
Shout out to Slovenia.
Shout out
Better
to
represent
Slovenia.
for fucking.
I
Cheers.
heard
love
it's
Slovenia.
awesome.
There.
And it's like maybe there's more than one festival, but the one we're playing is like in nature somehow, kind of
Yeah.
away from things.
Punk Rock
I know it.
Holiday?
I
Yes.
know where it is.
We're doing it with you.
Are you really?
It's fucking amazing.
It's
and
amazing.
there's a lake. You go swimming
Yeah.
in it.
Yeah.
I was with
Beautiful
Stigma.
lake.
I was with Stigma in the lake. It was awesome.
It's
Stigma on the
amazing,
lake, dude.
Matt's
That's
gonna
the
be there
story.
too, and Moon's gonna be there. Holy shit, we're gonna play with you guys.
This year.
Yeah, Punk
That's
Rock
true.
Holiday.
I'm pretty sure that's the one.
That's it.
It's
Punk
definitely
Rock
it.
Holiday.
Yeah.
Shout-
Is
it's
that
one of
the one you've played?
Yeah, we played there before. It was called something else.
Oh, right,
but it's
because you're
just-
playing more metal.
Yeah.
Shout out to
circuit.
Punk Rock Holiday, one of the funnest
But it's
festivals.
the same festival grounds, I think.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, we're going to
On
the
the
lake, bro.
lake, yeah.
It's beautiful lake. It's
Descendants,
so cold.
right?
Yes,
Yeah, we're there.
we're on it too.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That'll be fun.
And Mad Caddies
Okay.
and like a ton of bands. I mean,
That's so cool,
tons
man.
of Warped Tour alumni.
Yeah,
That's
there's
cool.
another
It's gonna be
incredible
great.
video.
So many I can't think of.
The
but
people can watch, and people always show me. We played the song "What Happened," which Skiba sang on, and he pulled up to Girls Rock and came on stage and sang with it. That video. Still, people comment and post about it to this day.
Oh, that was great.
Because
Yeah.
we played it 3 years in a row, and kids always bum rush for that song.
Right, yeah.
Yeah. That's another one
Awesome.
people talk about. Is like, I sent Skiba the song. We become friends on the Warped
It's a
Tour.
great song.
And Skiba was always supporting Hazen Street. I met him in New York with Moon, and like people didn't really know we were friends. And it's not two different worlds because we're all from the same cloth. You know what I'm saying? But I sent Skiba that song, and then he wrote that fucking verse and sent it back, and it blew people's minds.
Jerry Finn produced it too.
That thing.
Yeah.
Oh fuck! Sent it back, and we put on the record, and people flipped that he was on the record, like Trio and H2O. Then he was in New York. We shot the video, and it's fucking awesome, man.
Yeah, Jerry Finn recorded that and helped me like write it. I mean, I wrote the lyrics and
Killed
stuff, but
it.
he helped me like make it into more an anthemic.
I gotta say, it's one of the
It's a
most
great
epic guest vocals on a punk record in a really long time. I'm just gonna say that for like, and some people. A lot of people
Fits
won't
so
even
well.
did that, dude.
Fits so
It just
well,
fits so perfect,
Yeah.
Steve.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it
Thank
kind of
you.
wrote itself. Yeah, you're welcome.
That was so fucking.
Thanks for having me. I'm psyched to have done it. And all
get
the
to
shows we
perform it.
did together, like
Yeah.
stuff I wouldn't normally get to do, like being tackled by strangers on a stage
Oh,
is
yeah.
something that we like. It's a hardcore thing, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Right,
I
right.
love it
Shit
though.
was
I love that
crazy,
shit.
bro. I just love that our worlds collided back then.
Being
you know
picked
what I
up
mean?
by Freddie.
But he was like one of the main people watching Hazen Street every day in the Warped Tour. It was like 3 fucking people that he was there.
Wow.
It was awesome, dude. I'm glad we met, became friends, and all
Yeah.
our worlds collided and all that.
I love
shit.
all those guys, man. Ride or die.
Ride or die. Any more questions for this wonderful man?
Yeah.
One more second. The record's out
I
this
love
week.
this.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
The record's out this week,
The 26th,
the
right?
26th on Max's
The
21st
26th.
birthday.
Is that this week?
Yes.
This week.
Blood,
Oh, right,
hair,
this
and
week.
eyeballs this Friday,
Blood,
the
hair, and
26th,
eyeballs.
Max's 21st birthday.
21st
The new Alkaline
birthday.
Trio record.
Yeah. Yeah, my
Blood,
mom,
hair, and
blood, hair,
eyeballs.
and eyeballs is something my mom used to say. She was an ER nurse. She was in Vietnam, but when she was an ER nurse in Chicago, when they had really busy nights, they would say blood. It was blood, hair, and eyeballs. That was like a slang term.
That's gnarly.
That is
So
gnarly.
that's where that comes from.
Damn.
And you got versions,
Chicago
you got versions
ER.
of You out now and Bad Time, 2 other songs out right now.
Yep.
So you got 3 songs out now.
3 songs. 4th one comes out on the 20. The day before the record comes out. I think.
25th.
We just shot a video for it.
I was gonna say, are there
This
gonna do
Thursday.
videos for all these songs? Or?
We're trying to.
That's
Wow,
sick.
that's cool.
But Versions of You is just a lyric video because we'd been traveling so much. It's like the guys have been flying out. My bandmates don't live in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
One
Where-
lives in St. Augustine, Florida. That's how I know kind of know about the Plymouth
history?
Rock thing. Like
Right.
it's
Yeah.
supposedly like the first city they actually landed on before the quote unquote settlers.
Settlers.
The settlers. That's a cute story.
You ever directed one of your videos before? Your
I
own video?
have.
Cool. That's
Yeah, I
awesome.
wrote. I've written a bunch of them. The ones we've done so far, like the skateboard one, was mostly all Ravi, but we did another one that was kind of like Suspiria ballerinas and stuff that I co-wrote with the director. And then before that, like all the Blink videos I'm in, I wrote. I mean, I haven't directed. I've co-directed, but I've written almost all of those videos.
That's amazing, man.
Yeah.
That's sick.
Because you get videos, people write your videos, and
Yeah.
it's always like dilapidated warehouse, and
Yeah.
you know, playing.
Yes.
It's a performance video in a dilapidated warehouse,
Totally.
and that's there's nothing wrong with that. But I love the old videos that have like a story to them.
Yeah,
so,
me too.
So I just and most people aren't going to take the time to write that.
Do you have 2 gold records with Blink?
I think so.
I think it probably
One
platinum.
for sure.
Yeah, I thought it was platinum too. Yeah.
I think they both went gold, but I my mom keeps all the trophy stuff.
Nice.
She would know.
That's cool.
Yeah, I just send them to her.
What do you got for Steve, Derek?
Oh yeah. Are there any artists that you would like to collaborate with, or that you thought of like, man, this would be so cool to collaborate, like with Trio, like to maybe do something? I don't know, like maybe a place that you've never been to, and I don't know, like some tribe or something where you're like, I love this style of music. Maybe somewhere in Scandinavia or somewhere.
Yeah, I mean
Wow.
That's a good question. The David Byrne book that I'm reading, he talks about how where you hear music is just as important as the music itself, which is a really interesting, not even concept, it's the reality. Like churches are built like caves because they used to hear music in caves, or music that's African that's mostly rhythm driven is made to be played in a plain thing over war cries and over dancing and social gathering. Yeah. So it's loud and rhythmic, but in a Carnegie Hall, it would all turn into mush probably. Right. Or vice versa, like classical music in, chamber music in a cave or whatever. It's like the one thing that always sounds good is caves. Is like the main thing. So I think as far as playing places that aren't, now that I'm reading this book and we were talking about the ancient culture, I'm now more than ever interested in playing places that aren't concert halls. Right. So, interesting. But I don't have anything specific. I mean, there's so much there's definitely a lot of things that I love, that aren't like rock and roll or punk rock that I think would be really interesting to experiment with. As far as like Alkaline Trio is concerned, somebody asked me recently about who I would do a duet with, and I love Alison Mosshart's voice. I love that woman as a person. We go back a few years, back from when she sang for Discount. Oh, I remember Discount. But the Kills have a new record out. I love their new record, and I love her voice, and she's a super cool babe. So Alison, as far as rock contemporaries, I think she'd be somebody, like if I were to sing like a duet with someone, she would be it.
That's cool.
But there isn't a cave I won't play.
Right.
Have you ever rapped before?
No.
I know there's hip. I'm the same. I would never rap. I love hip hop too much. Like disrespect it.
I've written for people, but I've never attempted it myself.
You ghostwriter?
I have done some ghostwriting.
That's cool.
And a couple times it's been for hip hop acts.
Wow.
So
that's cool.
Since you like Cormac McCarthy.
But I would not attempt it. No, nobody wants to hear that.
Nah, I would never even step close to that.
Do you still skate?
Yeah.
No, skate the barracks with him. He got some skills.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
The last time I really skated was to teach Max kick and heel flips.
Bro, and now he's
And now it's just he can do those in his sleep.
He's doing the rails over there. Like, dude, I can't.
He
surpassed my skill level long ago.
Well, you skated your whole life, yeah.
Well, yeah, and Max is just naturally, I think, on a surfboard and skateboard, he's just, this liquid death sparkling water really, really satisfies. Burping up here like a baby.
You got dope shove-its.
Dope shove-its.
You do shove-its.
I can do shove-its.
Yeah.
I can float some kick flip or heel flip. I'm better at heel flips.
Which are harder. Yeah.
They're harder, but I don't have to think about it as much. Kick flips, the setup is a little trickier for me, but I mean, I have like a small little toolbox of tricks, and I've taught them to Max, and then he's taken them and actually busted them
Remember
down.
Your first board?
I do. It was Mark Gator Rogowski.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The black and green.
Black and green.
Yeah.
Saw it in a magazine. I was like, I have to have that. My grandmother got it for me. Mark Rogowski, yeah.
I just
part
saw
of the Where Are They Now club.
Yeah, I know.
Except we know where he is.
I just saw recently he's getting out soon.
He's afraid to get out, though.
Okay.
Did you hear that?
No.
It's like because the father of the woman is like, the minute you get out, I'm gonna fucking ruin your life.
Okay.
Physically. Whatever he said, the guy knows he's like, you're not going to be safe.
I watched the mini doc that he turned his life around into all this stuff, and he's coming out. And
he wants to stay put. Like, you're released. Are you sure?
Yeah.
That motherfucker's going to kill me.
It's a crazy story too, man.
Crazy story.
Never
would imagine.
I'd want to stay in if I were him too.
And the girl is on the ramp in the Tom Petty video, which I just found out. She's sitting on the ramp in that video.
Didn't know that.
The victim?
Yeah.
The actual victim?
Yeah, sitting on the ramp. She did a skate video. What's the skate video with Tom Petty? The half pipe.
Don't back down.
Yeah,
it's free.
Free falling. Yeah, she's in the free falling video. I didn't know that.
Ventura Boulevard. Yeah. This is the skateboard video. But I think that video. Well, maybe you're right.
Oh, I have to look on the mini doc. I don't know.
Okay.
I mean, that's the time frame. I'm all backwards on, but I believe it. Small world.
Yeah, double check that fact. But I saw the doc the other day.
That story is horrific. I'm gonna go see Poor Things tonight. Did you see that?
I'm gonna go see it. I'm going to watch it. I'm gonna watch it Friday at Josh's. We're doing a triple date Friday at his house because he said I had to see it. He said it's his Amazing movie.
My neighbor's an actor, and he's seen it twice already, and he's taking me tonight.
Yeah, everybody Friday have all
Mandate.
seen it except for me and Moon. We're gonna do like a triple date and watch it. I heard it. He said it's amazing.
That's cool.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I've heard it's great. I'm psyched. I'm a stone. Let's do this.
Yes.
Thank
Oh
you
wait.
guys.
Oh, one more thing. Fuck
Yo.
it. You have a top 5
Top 5 what?
hip hop?
Top 5 hip hop. Definitely Fear of a Black Planet.
Yeah.
Straight
Public
out of
Enemy.
Compton. I have the first.
Got so much trouble on my
I
mind.
refuse to lose.
It's your ticket.
Hear the drummer get wicked.
I love the Tyler stuff.
Tyler, the Creator.
Yeah.
Yes, we just saw him recently.
Yeah.
It was incredible, man.
Yeah, he's great.
NWA, Public Enemy, Tyler the Creator. Those are 3 bangers.
And he's got a couple records that I
Oh,
think
yeah,
are just beyond.
So you're paying attention
comprehension.
to new hip hop and new stuff.
As much as I can. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah,
compared to like people that like you, probably not as much.
Yeah.
But I definitely get things. You know, I've been listening to a lot of I love the Beastie Boys.
We have a new group for him. We have
Oh,
to turn
yeah.
him on to.
Yeah.
But I love Jay.
Jay-Z, yeah, bastard, yeah.
Yeah, that kid's talented.
We're gonna play your new group off the pod.
Yeah.
They're
But I'm sure
amazing.
there's tons of stuff I don't
Fire.
know about, so I'm psyched to hear it. Make me a mixtape.
Yeah,
Ooh,
mixtape.
mixtape.
We're
Okay.
getting a Screamo mixtape today.
Yeah.
I
From
want
Jersey.
a
Yeah.
hip hop mixtape from you.
Okay.
Yeah. Ooh.
Hook
And
me
then-
up. And then next time I do this, then I'll actually probably know some
All right.
things.
And then the last question I want to ask you, like, what do you think your version of Screamo would be? Like, what does that mean? We're talking about genres yesterday.
I don't know
Screamo,
anything about
post-punk,
Yeah.
violent emo.
I got it all wrong.
You ever paid
Violent
attention? Like,
emo
what-
was-
I mean, I thought emo to me was always like the most emo things were like Captain Jazz and like the OG kind of stuff is more like Rites of Spring.
Yeah,
Rites of Spring,
son.
yeah.
Like
Embrace.
Okay.
Embrace, Rites
Yeah.
of Spring, mostly
Beefeater.
DC stuff.
Yeah.
And like
That's our
as far
generation.
as
Yeah,
though,
yeah.
but I remember on Warp Tour when Kids with the Bangs and the screams was like everyone called it scream because they never called it emo when it was emo or screamo when it was screamo.
True.
Like that was, I feel like it's sort of like new metal or something. It's something that like came later, and the bands that are called actually like fans that call it screamo or something. I wouldn't know any of those bands. What was
Okay.
what was the gentleman you had on your show yesterday? What's
Jeremy Boehm from Touche Amore.
Touche Amore, right?
He's amazing.
So like
yeah.
that's a band that I know like kids considered screamo.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
but I'm not as-
post-punk, whatever those terms are. Like, yeah, like
I'm more versed in hip hop than I am screamo,
same.
Yeah.
and I'm not
Same.
very well
Right.
versed.
Right.
As this interview just
Because he named 3 bands with the top
Yeah.
tiers. I can't even
And
repeat
I
the
was
name
like,
today.
who?
The top tiers of
Yeah.
Screamo. I never even heard of. They're all back
Never heard
together
of
now.
it. I was like,
I never heard of it because I thought Take It Back Sunday, My Chem, all those bands were different. That was
those
like
are
more of a-
those are like singers. They're not like
Yeah.
with like cute haircuts.
yeah.
It's like those are like rock bands.
Yeah.
Kind of like emo-y. I guess kids like consider My Chem emo, but they're just a rock. I mean, not just.
Yeah.
I think they're a great band. I think they're a great rock band.
Yeah.
It's emotive, but so is all good rock music. It's like stadium rock.
Yeah.
It's always about like a girl that doesn't want to talk to you or something.
I'll say before
Jesse's girl.
I'll say before I say it again. Like Madball has emo. They have emotion. All bands have emo. All music has emotion to it.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if it's hard or soft.
right.
It's not just one
Aggression
style.
is an emotion.
Yeah,
Yeah,
100%. So like
absolutely.
all the genres and stuff, the labels never really understood that.
Me
Nah.
either.
It's just it's a
Just
feeling.
good.
It's
I
what they
like
sound.
good things.
Good things
Yeah.
about you.
I like things that are good. The serotonin dump, whether
Yeah.
Mhm.
Jeez, man, this has been awesome. This is way better than the first one. This is great, man.
I hope
so
so.
happy. Yeah, it's great. Yeah. So nice.
right on. Thanks
mean,
for having me. I love that Josh Brolin called in.
Yeah, that was nice.
That was really cool. Again, Josh. Yeah.
Shoots.
But thank you for supporting me with the pod too from the jump.
Hell
You've always
yeah.
been supportive of this.
I
and
love you, bro.
It's been
For
came
sure.
a long way in this kitchen, man. Now we're all here.
Congratulations.
This is my first time ever doing a phone call with you here, Derek. Because usually I just call the person after
That's
the pod.
true.
Yeah, it's cool. We're on the like we're actually having a podcast with him on the phone.
It's interesting.
I like Skiba here in person better.
Yeah.
But, so what I was saying before we got cut off was just talking about people's first, time hearing different bands or a different one of our albums, either Sepultura, H2O, or Trio. And I was talking about Blink and how people can look back at the Skiba years, and that's the first time like they heard Blink-182, which I think is cool. It's awesome. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I was saying that a lot of kids that I met at shows, it was, I should say there were a lot of kids at the shows that I met that it was their first Blink show, some of the times their first rock show, period.
Oh yeah.
And I was saying that it's cool, like, any three of our bands, like, or whatever, like anybody's bands, it's like if you're recording and touring, you're going to be somebody's first, always, like somebody's first punk record will be H2O or Sepultura, first rock record will be Sepultura or whatever it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, being a part of Blink when it was only good stuff. It was definitely, I was honored and still am to have been a part of it, and definitely to be somebody's first Blink experience. It's definitely a cool thing to point out.
Yeah. Another thing you don't really talk about, but you live, is like a vegan lifestyle, and I always respect you for that. Like, you don't really talk about it, you're not posting about it. Obviously, they put you in the vegan club and those posters and stuff, and you were flattered and cool about it, but you've always kept kind of like your diet and stuff like that, as a personal choice for you.
Yeah, I don't really think that, if we're being honest, like somebody tells me they're vegan, I don't find that interesting. I don't think that if somebody tells me they don't like broccoli, like, why would you bring that up? If you're not eating broccoli, I'm just an animal freak. I don't like to eat them. I just lost my taste for it. But as far as it being something that I wear on my sleeve as like an identity, I don't think there's anything wrong with it. That's just not really for me. I feel like the way you treat people, or the way that you live is, I think, should be more emblematic of a person than what their diet is.
I get that. And is it safe to say your last real job was being a bike messenger, or did you have an actual punch-in 9-to-5 kind of job in your life before music?
The last time I had a boss was, yes, as a bike messenger.
That's cool.
And before that, I worked in a print shop. I mowed lawns. Like when I was a little kid, I just mowed the neighbors' lawns. That was like my means of making money to buy cassette tapes and, concert tickets when I got old enough. But, the messenger thing I did for about 7 years. But because of that job, I was able to start touring. It's not a job that, especially in the winter in Chicago, a lot of people are signing up for.
Oh yeah. That's gnarly in the winter.
Yeah.
And then what about like, you're a big movie buff too. You have like a couple movies that you really love that you can always keep watching over and over again. You never get sick of them, that you just really love?
Yeah, there's a lot of them. I mean, we were just talking to our buddy Josh Brolin about No Country for Old Men. I love those books. I love Cormac McCarthy's books.
Yeah.
But that film, the Coen Brothers film, I think is in it's definitely my top 5. I could watch that movie over and over again. I could watch Das Boot over and over again. There's a bunch of them, man. I'm a total film freak. So we could talk about that all night. But there's group of movies. But going back to our other conversation, No Country is definitely up there in the top 5.
Top 5. And then what about social media? I know you're on social media. You post about life and what you have going on. Are you like answering DMs? Are you chatting with people on there? Do you let one negative comment affect your day? Like, do you really what is your deal with it for you?
Yeah, I don't really. I have an Instagram account. I'll post. That's the only thing I post on. Twitter was fun for a minute, but it just got me in trouble because I'm not really up to date on. I mean, since Twitter and since a couple debacles on Instagram, I try to stay more up to speed on what's happening in the world, because I've been making jokes about things that when
come off insensitive.
Yeah, like I didn't know that somebody just got murdered in this town, or that somebody shut up a theater in Aurora, Colorado, whatever it was. I'm just like posting things of zero like relevance and it seemingly ignoring any real happenings in the world. And so, Twitter just, I think all of it, anybody is susceptible to the rabbit hole of social media.
Totally.
I post things occasionally. band stuff, shameless self-promotion, of course, art stuff, events or whatever, or just kind of, everyday little things that I notice or feel like I need to address. But for the most part, I don't feel chained to it at all. I definitely post very selfishly. I put things out there and don't look at them again. If I am on there screwing around, I generally rather read a book than look at my computer screen or my phone screen. Because if you sit there and listen, everybody's going to find something shitty to say about, no matter how benign it is.
100%.
Someone's going to get offended. Somebody's going to think it's bullshit and speak their mind about it. And I don't care. I just don't have I don't really, I don't want to bum anyone out or offend anybody, but I also, beyond that, I don't really care what somebody thinks about what I do or, take it or leave it. Hopefully that, everyone's posting things that their friends enjoy or their followers enjoy, but I am as separated from it as as one can be while still having an Instagram account.
Right.
I love that. And then what about therapy? What's your thoughts on therapy?
What kind of therapy? Like psychotherapy?
Yeah. Like going to see a therapist. I just started doing it, so I've been interested in talking to you about it.
I've done psychotherapy almost my whole life.
Wow.
As a kid, I had behavioral issues. I had a lot of anger issues. My parents were concerned, so they sent me to therapy at an early age. And I think it's very helpful. I mean, I think that the thing that therapists do, and I think any good therapist would agree with you, all they do is listen.
Yeah.
Right.
Because nobody really listens to each other. Like in your everyday life, most people, and that there's an exception. We have great friends that we communicate well with and feel secure in sharing intimate details with. But people are generally too busy with their own shit to be good listeners and to really, the therapist very often, they'll give you some sort of like tools or things depending on your specific issue, but mostly they're just there to listen. And I think it's most people don't have anyone that listens to them with undivided attention.
True.
And that way, true. I think a therapist can be essential to one's well-being. I mean, I'm not currently in therapy. I have a friend that's a therapist that I will see if I feel like something in my life isn't making sense.
Yeah.
And I want to bounce it off of somebody and not really share with anyone else. But those instances are few and far between. I'm a fairly open book. But I think that, there's people that think that it's bullshit. And I'm not one of those people. I think that it can be very helpful. And it's good to hear that you're doing that. I think it takes a certain amount of guts and definitely emotional intelligence to surrender and go see. It takes strength, I think, to go see somebody and trust them. So good for you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I probably asked you this on the first episode, but that was episode 49. Are you an optimist or pessimist?
Realist.
I like that. That's what Moon says. That's what Wifey says. Yeah. Realist. Okay. I like that. I appreciate that. Yeah.
I think it depends again on the situation. It's a bit of both. I mean, I always kind of look for the silver lining in, potentially stressful or quote unquote bad situations. I try and find the good in that. I don't think that that's necessarily optimism. I don't, I try and see both sides of things and in general, I wouldn't say I'm one or the other. I think a realist is what I hope to be and what I think I probably am closest to being.
Awesome. I think that's it, Derek. Any questions from me?
Yeah. No, I think when you talked about therapy, it's something that's very courageous, and it's had a huge impact in the prison system when they have people who, instead of putting them in solitary confinement, is to put them into a group of people to be able to talk through what's been happening. Awesome. And I think it's really awesome, because
that's interesting. Yeah,
it really is interesting, because at the end of the day, when they're in solitary, it's actually making it worse. The problem, they have no one to talk to.
Yeah.
And they go insane. It's absolutely inhumane, I believe, and I think what you're saying is very relevant. The fact of having someone to talk to is so important. So, yeah, it's definitely
therapy, Derek?
Bravey Morse. Yes, I have been.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Yeah. Yo, Chappelle. I mean, Skiba, can we talk?
Dead to me.
Skiba, can we talk about how incredible Derek's voice is when he comes on the mic? It's like, holy shit.
Well, it's amazing to it really is a sign of talent. Like when somebody is like Derek, just a gentleman and a kind, handsome individual, like handsome in being and in energy, just like an attractive, sweet person that has lungs of just rage and fire. It's like, it's a dig deep, man. It's impressive.
Yeah, man.
I'm blushing over here.
I want to listen when your voice comes on. It's just like, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah, it's a takeover. It's definitely like, it seems like it's the magic of music. It comes from somewhere else almost.
Oh, that's great.
It's your power,
Thanks,
your
guys.
sexy ass voice for radio.
That's
And you
what
got
we do.
and you got a face for radio too.
It's a good voice. It's definitely a good radio voice. When you were talking about the treble in your voice, I'm like, what the hell is this guy talking about?
I know. Well,
Shit is sexy smooth.
That's what we try to keep it over here, sexy and smooth.
What's
Sexy
the actor that does all the narrations? He always makes fun. He does every narration of every movie.
I'm not really
OG
sure.
actor, Drive Miss Daisy.
Oh, Morgan Freeman.
Dude, you're the Morgan Freeman of
Mr.
fucking
Morgan Freeman
of metal.
Of metal.
Yeah.
The Morgan Freeman of metal.
Jesus.
Well, thank you, Skiba, for your time. I fucking
Yeah.
love you, brother. I appreciate you.
I
And,
love you guys. Yeah,
much
thanks for
love.
calling back.
All right, bro. Have a great night.
Yeah.
You too. Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Have fun in the sauna. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Peace.
I always ask my guests if they have any regrets. I personally don't have any regrets. Even when it comes to my tattoos, I have the silliest tattoos. Even my ET on my leg, it's still a childhood memory for me, and I love it. I've had tattoos on top of tattoos strictly because I wanted more tattoos. I started getting tattoos when I was 18. I'm 52 now, and I can't stop. I've had laser treatment before on something on my arm. It's 4 tattoos on top of each other. And that experience at that place was pretty fast. It was pretty cold. It was in and out, swiped the credit card. Don't really tell me much, didn't give me much details or anything was going to happen. So I never went back. So as of most recently, I'm so lucky enough to have had 2 sessions at Removery Tattoo Removal. My tattoo on my arm that looks like a big black blob is now super light. I've had 2 sessions. I have a long road ahead of me. None of this stuff happens overnight. You cannot take a tattoo up in one sitting. You have to be patient. And it's painful. They ice you up. It's super fast. To me, it felt like a bunch of rubber bands. But what's more painful than that is looking at something on your body that you think you're stuck with for the rest of your life. That sucks. But now for me, I'm really happy I started this journey. I'm slowly going to get this tattoo removed. I never thought in a million years I have any kind of real estate on my arm. I don't even know what I want, but it's exciting. I'm so honored to announce that One Life, One Chance podcast is now with Removery. I have a code. Use TobyH20 and get $100 off your first session. Call 866-934-4570 or go to removery.com. One of the most experienced tattoo removal companies in the world. Over 600,000 removal treatments done. 100 locations. US, Canada, and Australia. State-of-the-art Pico-Way laser technology. Cryo technology to reduce any discomfort. This is so exciting for me because all I do in these podcasts is talk about tattoos. From day one, if you've been listening to this podcast, we talk about tattoos, talk about getting removed, talk about getting covered up. So this is such a perfect fit for me. Once again, go to removery.com or call 866-934-4570. Use my code TobyH20 and get $100 off. These guys are located everywhere. Try it out.